Hi, my name is Donald Chan and I work in esports IT here at Riot.
I'm Travis Ford DeCastro. Most people know me as Ford. I currently work on the core League of Legends development team. You can see it on my shirt.
I am Chris Eaton and I am a gameplay capture artist.
My summoner name is Riot Velvet. I'm a skins producer.
I'm Aiden Zyrene Moon and I'm a shoutcaster for Riot Games.
I went to college at Penn State University. I was in the College of Engineering.
I went to school at the University of Texas Austin.
Savannah College of Art and Design, also known as SCAD. I studied 3D art and game development.
Actually, before SCAD, I went to another college called Piedmont.
I went to two schools. I first went to Maricosta College and then I moved over to UCI where I studied cognitive psychology.
I was walking through the dorms and I saw some kid playing this top-down game. I thought it was StarCraft, started talking to him. He's like, oh no, this is League of Legends.
Originally, there was an esports club on campus and a couple of us had a vision to spread esports as a culture to just the UT campus and eventually a lot of the US.
When we decided to found the club, there was 10 of us packed into this hotel room, and I think we were sitting there with a bunch of Draven masks on, and we're like, wouldn't it be cool? At that moment, I just kind of was on my phone looking up inter-club council paperwork on how to do it, and we submitted it, and I remember the lady was like, what is a League of Legends? when I took it to her.
I kept using the term sport, and it just became very normal for them to react to that just as they would any other sport.
Hello and welcome to PSUP Esports Weekly number 7. Team No Wombats, their uLoL beta season. They defeated UBC.
I had no experience presiding over clubs. I had always heard about people, they want to run clubs as a way to get lots of experience and put it on their resume that they did this thing. But we didn't kind of care so much what they considered to be official. We did all that official stuff mainly to gain visibility for other Penn State students that were looking for a place to live.
When I came to SCAD, I joined in the league club that Ellie started. And they were super small, but they were really super welcoming. I remember playing games with them every night. First day I really wanted to show off. I was like, oh, I'm gonna play my best champion, show off everyone and carry the game. And the first game I fed really hard. And I was like, oh no, they're never gonna accept me as a League of Legends player now. No, but it was kind of through that club and interacting with people online and the meeting in my classes that I got a lot of friends in college.
Most of the context that I interacted with the club with was in a casting context. I won the first tournament and then the second tournament I ended up casting all the way to the finals and having that be in person, and it was really a ton of fun. And then I remember Lone Star Clash 2 and I remember Rivington being there.
Lone Star Clash 2. Austin, Texas, Rivington III here with Scara, our final series of the day, a best of 5.
Rivington's always actually been one of my favorite casters and inspiration back when I did both play-by-play and color. And it drove me. Watching Season 2 Worlds as well drove me and made me really want to be a caster.
So when we first started, we were just officers with titles. We didn't really know what the role meant. Since our dream was spreading esports, one of us had to pick up what broadcasting is like. I messed around with a lot of the tech stuff to get the organization up and running, and I found out that I had a passion for IT, and so I just went and pursued that.
And they innovated today. They brought that AD carry Tristan in the mid lane.
All my parents are teachers. They have PhDs. Even my step-parents are teachers and college professors. So somebody writes me a message and says, hey, I'm trying to be a professional caster. I want to know how to up my game as an amateur. And I say, well, you're talking to the right guy, because I've made that transition and it's not easy.
What really helped me was seeing the community grow. Just seeing it evolve from 10 people in a room to 30 people in a room to 100 people online to we've got a team in the uLoL series. Seeing that has just brought me so much experience and passion and joy. I actually got on last weekend to watch their game and was sitting there in the living room oh guys, come on, oh we can do this, kind of stuff like that.
It's kind of nice that you have the backing of your school or coach and your friends in a really structured environment. When you're playing for your school, you kind of have more of an identity. It's almost like playing a college sport, really. Just you're playing college League of Legends. So.
Because I went to UT and because of all the stuff that I had to go through that these players are potentially going through, I definitely want to see my team succeed. I want to root for my UT team.
If you're thinking of starting a club, consider that this will not be a small effort, but instead a core part of your college experience, which hopefully will be a really positive one. Keep in mind that you have so much precedent set for you now. Look all around you, talk to people at other college campuses, watch collegiate esports, anything you can do to better prepare yourself for the amount of work that you're taking on, and also stay excited about it. You have to be excited about it to make it work. It defined my college experience. Penn State esports was my alma mater.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the uLoL Campus Series. It's week number 6, and we've got some more games coming at you once again. I am Dominic Sater-Romer. Joining me back on the broadcast is Mr. Aiden Zyrene Moon.
Thank you very much for introducing me. I'm happy to be back. So let's get some uLoL action underway.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a very fun day indeed. Before we get to our games, though, let's take a look at the current team standings. Again, we're going on week number 6, and we've already got some clear runners-up.
Yeah, you can see basically the standings are kind of hashing themselves out. We have 2 more weeks of competition. It's a 7-week round robin. Everybody plays best of 2s against each other. And, of course, you can see there were 32 teams, 8 in each conference. Top 4 from each advance. And so we'll know by the end of next week who's going to be advancing and who's going to be going to those conference playoffs, where they all fight each other, the 4 in each conference, to figure out who's the best in each conference, and then those 4 teams go to the uLoL Campus Series Championship to compete for $660,000 in scholarships as a prize pool.
Yeah, a pretty respectable prize pool. Let's take a look at the schedule for now. This week, we've got Ohio State University taking on University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. We're just going to be calling them University of Illinois, or Illinois for short.
Urbana. Is it Urbana or Urbana?
Urbana?
I don't know.
We're certainly going to find out if they're going to be Urbanned or not as we get into this game. But before we actually get to those matches, we're actually going to take a look at some of our highlights from Week 5. Here are those top 5 replays. Our first play comes from UCLA's Soy, demonstrating why you should never dive an angry Poppy.
We're going to be number 1 this game.
Oh shit, 3 top. Can you do this? What a god. 1 kill.
Next up is Cal Poly Pomona, sacrificing their Mundo for an epic Lux Baron steal. Hashtag work.
Right now. Got it. Nice. Run.
I'm in the pit. I need help.
Oh, back.
I bind it.
Back out. Just back. We got it.
Once again, it's Cal Poly Pomona showing off their team synergy with Trundle and Poppy.
Oh, I got him.
Damage. Fine.
Okay.
Can't do anything. What are they gonna do to us?
Go kill her. She has ult now. Oh, I got a bomb. That's GG.
Hold me.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I'm good. I'm getting the Kindred.
Trundle Poppy.
Okay.
The fourth play comes from Harvard University, showing off that the Wombo combo is far from dead, with Young J. Kim's Victor landing a perfect stun. Cleared out Yellow's solo. He's still alive. Finally goes down to Young J. Kim. Crowdme's caught out on the far side. Auto attack. The last play comes from Georgia Tech, showing how to dismantle a team 4v5 while tower diving. Victory shout included.
I'm pushing mid.
Late. Target. He slid. Video.
Yo, nice shot.
I'm alive. Wow! Perfect. 4v5. We got all of them.
Meanwhile, Kindred in the mid lane just pushing it, winning a 4v5. And you saw there, he tabbed, he's like, oh yeah, we're 7-0. So good job there by Georgia Tech. You know, they're actually looking to make those conference playoffs.
Yeah, very confident stuff we're seeing out of them. Today, however, we're going to bring it back to our current matchup, Ohio State versus University of Illinois. Now, you can find out more about these teams and all of the other teams on our website, ulol.leagueoflegends.com. You can take a look at the standings, find a club near you, and even watch VODs of some of our previous games.
Yeah, and this one will be up there later on, and then of course the one next week, which is UCLA versus UCI, will also be on there. And I definitely think you should keep track of these things, check the standings, because they're going to fluctuate in these next few weeks to see who are those top 4 going to each conference playoffs.
Yeah, and it is so important because we are in week 6 of 7 of all of these best of 2s. So for now, let's actually take a look at our standings. First up, it's Ohio State University. In the top lane, they have got their top laner is Arun, jungler Nex Eric. Paris. Mid lane is Remind Me Remy with AD carry Strategical, and their support, who I think has got the best name so far, Bacon Seeker.
Oh my god. I like how that bot lane, they have that synergy. It's Strategical Bacon Seeker.
Yeah, some very, very neat stuff that we're seeing out of them that they're combo together. And again, this is Ohio State. They're in second place, 3-1-1 right now.
Yeah, the only team they've actually been 2-0'd by is Robert Morris University, which is considered a powerhouse all throughout the North American region. Of course, they have their own program, and Ohio's trying to keep up with them, so they're rigorously practicing, and they're trying to make sure that if they do make the playoffs and they have to go up against RMU eventually, that they'll be able to take them down. But of course, they still have to take out the team on the opposite side of the rift from them, which is going to be University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. In the top lane, it's Zode. In the jungle, it's Minsu. In the mid lane, it's the Fruit Seller. At AD carry, it's Snipe. And on support, it's Ginormous Noob.
Yeah,
hopefully he's a master, though.
Yeah, we're hoping he's not actually a ginormous noob. But this team not doing quite as well in the standings. Currently in 8th place with 2 points, if you guys saw during that standings bracket.
Yeah, so it's number 2 versus number 8. So the last team that, in those top 8, it's not looking too good for this squad. Of course, there are a lot of playoff implications here. If the first game goes over to Ohio, Ohio does end up clenching a playoff spot no matter what, because they 2-0'd the other team that could catch them at 11 points, which would end up being University of Chicago, I believe. So if they win this, Ohio State ends up being in the playoffs no matter what. If University of Illinois end up losing this, then they cannot make playoffs, even if they have a perfect run from there on out.
It's all up to University of Illinois, and even then the situation isn't looking that fantastic. Yeah. If they manage to win all of their games here on out, that means the competition still has to lose a lot of points.
Yeah, then you're hoping for a lot of ties in those. You're hoping that the teams that are at the top beat the teams that are at the bottom, and then you hope there's some ties on those bottom teams if they do have to play each other. That's pretty much the only scenario that University of Illinois can actually make it into the playoffs, because they're very far behind, and they need to nab 6 points to even contest that.
Yeah, that's going to require 2 wins here and another 2 wins next week. But, of course, we are in picks of bans, as you can tell. Ohio State University already banning away Lulu and Vane, taken away from Snipe. Meanwhile, Nidalee taken away from OSU, along with Lissandra. Now, they've got some really big priority picks that they're looking for here. And on blue side, I still see that Alistar is open.
Yeah, if you look at the previous games that these guys have played, I believe that Bacon Seeker has only played Alistar and Janna up until this point, and Strategical has only played Lucian and Tristana. So they like to actually have different combinations. Sometimes they'll have the Lucian alongside both of those carries. But when they get Tristana, you really want some protection for her. You want to make sure that she has the peel. So I think that having the Janna is ideal in that scenario. But he played 1 game of Ezreal last week, and that's pretty much broken up that bot lane. But of course, they do go for power picks here on Ohio's side more often than not.
Yeah, and there's the Alistar snag away for Ginormous Noob. That Janna is still available. Of course, Poppy first picked for Arun in the top lane. Zode is going to be taking Corki. We'll find out where that goes for now.
Yeah, and when we've talked to both of these teams, Ohio State said they're all about that team fight. They're all about grouping up and making sure that they can have that 5-on-5 synergy, and that's how they've made it to second place and only dropped 3 games total. So they're looking to group up, and then up against University of Illinois, well, they actually said, and it's verbatim here, sometimes the team play is almost like solo queue.
Yeah.
So when they group up, they don't seem to be on the same page as one another, but they're all individually very skilled, and Ohio State is actually surprised that Illinois is not higher up based on their solo queue MMR.
We'll see if that team play is going to help University of Illinois or end up hurting them if they split off. Meanwhile, there is the Lucian Janna as predicted from Strategical and Bacon Seeker in the bottom lane. University of Illinois looking to answer with a few AD carries of their own. Snipe is ready to pick. I would be surprised if that were to be locked in, but of course there's still a lot of different power picks up.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if they go for a Callista here. I think Callista Alistar is extremely strong, and Callista against Lucian, you can contest that, but the Lucian Janna lane is just very dominant, and Alistar into Janna is not really the best matchup in the world for Alistar. She has multiple ways to stop his headbutt and his combination, so Flash Pulverize is really what he has to go for, and even then, she can kind of predict it sometimes. So you have to be on the lookout for that. And then you already have Poppy into the Alistar into Poppy. So Poppy, the W is just going to be able to stop headbutts coming in too. So it's going to be very difficult to get in and start these fights if you're University of Illinois.
Yeah, meanwhile, the answer is going to be
Not
that
anymore,
Callista
though.
as predicted, but now Rek'Sai for even more engage. That's going to be for Minsu in the jungle.
Yep. Of course, Rek'Sai does fall prey to the Poppy W, once again, steadfast presence, but the Corki package and the Callista ultimate do not, so there are still ways for University of Illinois to start these engages off and have those team fights. But from what they were telling us, team fighting isn't really their strong suit, so if they're looking for all these types of engaged champions, they may go for more picks. They may actually try to just be lane dominant. We'll see what they end up going for here as their last pick in their top lane. But so far, it's that double marksman composition. If they go for a tank, it'll round it out. But Poppy would really be an ideal tank here to have in the top lane for Illinois, and it's already taken away.
Yeah, snagged away by Ohio State University. We'll see how Illinois responds with their final pick. Meanwhile, it's OSU looking at the last one. That's going to be a mid lane for Remind Me Remy. Could be top lane without Malphite being covered right now.
Yeah, I assume it is a top lane Malphite here. The Poppy, even though it's not locked, these things aren't locked in, now they are. The Poppy was played in the jungle by Nexivus multiple times so far, so he's been really liking that pick. I think that having a disengaged core where Poppy is your jungler and then your support is Janna, your support is Alistar, one of those two, then you have a great core for pretty much any type of composition because it has engage, it has disengage. Those are sometimes the only two tanks you need on a squad when you run triple marksman. They aren't running triple marksman this time, but they do have the Malphite ultimate to start these fights off, and they have the ultimate from Twisted Fate as well. So you can 1-3-1 with this comp, and you can also group up and fight. So a lot of versatility here for Ohio State University.
Yeah, they are expecting some great things with their team synergy. They've expressed that it is very good in the past. We'll see how it carries over. Illinois looking at their last pick to round out their composition, their team composition. Fruit Seller does have Corki. This is likely going to be a top lane for Zode.
And Fiora's banned out, so you can't really play that into Malphite. You're going to have to go with another tank. So yeah, there they go. We haven't seen too much of that, though.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen him, but still very strong. And what better way to deal with a team that wants to team fight than just survive through the fight?
Yeah, I think that being able to survive through the fight is important, especially since you're going to need consistent peel for your double marksman composition. If you're able to keep them alive for a very long time, then you're good to go. And that's the idea, is just keep them alive. Make sure the Corki and the Callista are okay. The Corki's pumping out magic damage, and the Callista is being able to get those Ren stacks. But they have a lot of engage here on both sides, so the compositions ended up rounding themselves out. Not too many options in the disengage over for Illinois. So that's kind of the difficulty there, is the Alistar might have to sacrifice himself, the headbutt back, the Scion may have to do that at some point, but that's really what we're looking at here, is a double marksman composition that has a decent amount of engage.
We'll see how it works out for University of Illinois. For now, though, we want to know what you think. Who's going to take the win? Tweet us at uLoL with hashtag OSUWin or hashtag UIWin. And we'll tally those votes as the game goes on. We're getting ready to load onto the Rift. We'll be there in just a minute. But, you know, you're talking about that double marksman. The big concern for me is, and I just played a game like this last night, we played against a double marksman composition. We had Malphite. Malphite just kind of casually walked up and bopped him in the face.
Yeah, Malphite does an extraordinarily high amount of damage, and it's deceptive. We saw Huni even get solo killed by a Malphite on Quinn, top lane, right? Even that was pre-level 6 when he didn't even have his ultimate. There's a deceptive amount of damage in that character. He gets Sunfire Cape, he'll end up getting an Iceborne Gauntlet, so when he does jump in, it's harder to get away, and he's definitely hitting you with that E with the extra armor ratio on it, so it becomes very difficult to deal with a Malphite.
Yeah, and we have talked about how strong Ohio State are looking with their team synergy, and we'll see if they pull it together into a win as we prepare to load onto the Rift. University of Illinois, they need one win to make sure they stay in. Well, actually, they need 4 wins.
They need 4 wins.
But it starts with this one here. You can't let yourself look too far ahead.
Yeah, you play it a game at a time. You can't play multiple games at a time.
Yep.
Actually, maybe you can. I've seen some other people do it.
Some interesting Twitch streams.
Yeah, Ohio State University, they just need 1 win to secure themselves a playoff spot. And that's really what this is about, is Ohio State University is securing their playoff spot, and University of Illinois, well, they need to stay alive.
Yeah,
and even then, it's still a stressful situation because they're sitting there saying, okay, what are the results of the other games? Because that's what really matters for the University of Illinois.
It's a fight of survival for Illinois. We'll see if they can make it through. And Ohio State, again, as we mentioned, looking for that playoff spot. They need 1 win to clinch it with their previous victory over University of Chicago in the weeks past. Minions now just spawning, defensive lines all across the board. Doesn't look like we're going to see any sort of lane swaps as... Ooh, first creep. Actually, no, that's 2 creeps already handed over to Ohio State. Things are looking good. Yeah, see, Bacon Seeker knows it.
Boom. You just spam the flare. They can't see the flare, though, when they watch the VOD.
They will. Yes, they're going to be like, oh my gosh. All right, so everybody's in standard lanes. Looks like our duo lanes are going to be starting off with a jungle camp. Gromp secured for University of Illinois, while the Krugs are being snagged.
Just one, though.
Actually, just one Krug.
Yep, get there quickly. After you take one Krug, you take the small one. See if you can shove the lane out. You will actually end up with a decent experience advantage. I actually think that gives Strategical and Bacon Seeker the faster level 2. Well, actually, those creeps, they didn't miss any of them, so that's actually going to really be difficult here. So Strategical is going to have to clear this whole wave. Ginormous Noob walks up, takes another. Oh, and they still have to wait for the next one, I believe. Yeah, they have to wait for the next wave here. If they constantly keep pressure, then they can. But Ginormous Noob, they might hit level 2 here very soon. There they go.
Or timing, there's the level 2, and there it is. Level 2 is answered back. So you can see them playing back. They didn't want to take any chance against the Callista Alistar.
Yeah, it's always a kind of a trade-off there. When you take the small Krug without the big one, you take less damage, but it is the risk that you might end up not getting level 2 first, and you saw all those creeps were just like one hit away as soon as the enemy lane arrived. So University of Illinois benefiting from those changes where the minions don't focus. Just one in the first wave.
It looks like it is still very even in CS. In the top lane, Zode continuing to put pressure onto Arun.
So, the game, of course, early game, it's kind of difficult to talk about the state of the game. But right now, we are seeing a Rek'Sai, we're seeing Minsu come down bottom, looking for Bacon Seeker already.
Yeah, he has found him. Flash is used. Minsu still finds the knock-up. There's not going to be a lot to save Bacon Seeker. Heal keeps him alive, but barely. 200 health. Rend, Ignite is burning. He shields himself and gets out with his life.
That Bacon Seeker had used his Q in the middle of the lane, and then that's why you were able to just see a tunnel in and a flash knock-up after the flash from Bacon Seeker. So 3 summoner spells blown from the side of Ohio State and 2 from University of Illinois.
Very solid play from Minsu, getting that flash across. We'll see if he's able to exercise any sort of advantage off of it. In fact, that was 3 summoner spells burned out of Strategical and Bacon Seeker. Looks like Snipe actually burned his flash as well to try to get into range, along with the Ignite from Ginormous Noob.
Yeah, and Ginormous Noob was trying to get the finish off there. Zode, though.
Oh, boy.
Zode, there's a flash available for both, but you have those Corrupting Potions ticking, one more on the side of Zode, so he'll actually be pretty even in HP as soon as he uses that last charge. So it's not all lost in this top lane just yet.
Yeah, Arun and Zode playing that standard tank top lane, the undead versus the living rock.
They're both lifeless creatures.
But they look so full of life. The paradox indeed. So Zode is continuing to harass down with that Corrupting Potion. Looks like he's going to be having the health advantage for now, as Arun did already burn through all of his charges early on.
Yeah, and you can see Nexavis, speaking of charges, he has his jungle upgrade, he has the Tracker's Knife, not going for early damage, but going for early vision control for his team to make sure that they don't fall behind early, because Ohio State University, they want to make it to that mid-game point where they group up and where they team fight. This bottom lane, though, there are a lot of summoner spells blown, so they have to be on the lookout on Ohio State's side, because Minsu, he has his flash available, so the flash knockup onto Bacon Seeker could be what kills him here, and Minsu came over the wall. He was undetected.
Yeah, flash knockup finds Bacon Seeker. He's double knocked up. There goes a lot of damage. He goes down first blood to Snipe.
Yep. Sharks, they're just like, there's blood in the water. Flash is down bot lane. You show up there, and that's where Rek'Sai shows up and immediately backed up by his team. But Nexavis looking for a kill in the mid lane.
Ooh, Fruit Seller holding on to his Valkyrie, waiting for the Steadfast Presence to fade away. Gets out safely. He did have to burn his flash, however.
Yeah. Ward coverage has been a little bit off right now for Ohio State University. University of Illinois, they're super early in the game, but they're still keeping ward control bottom. Scuttle Crab is being taken by Minsu, so they have the protection there because you saw the flash was already down from Snipe. They wanted to keep him safe, but you go back and you re-gank the lane where you got more summoner spells out of that lane. So Ohio State University's first blood from Bacon Seeker could end up being a big deal because Snipe now has that gold.
Yeah, Minsu still has that flash as well. We'll see if he heads back towards that bottom lane.
I would.
Deep ward from Nexavis does spot out Minsu in the jungle. He gets a good ping, so everyone knows that he's there. And Arun, you can see, goes and drops a nice deep ward in this river to make sure that he's safe in addition to that.
Yeah, I definitely think that you gank this bottom lane if you're Minsu. You try to just wreck them. You go over and over and over again. Don't be nice. Just keep going to that bottom lane. He's backing right now to go pick up some items. We'll see what he does. Maybe longswords. We'll see if he goes for an aggressive build and tries to carry. No, it's going to be the Bomby Cinder. Going to be looking for a supportive build here. But I definitely think you go towards this bottom lane. Because if you look at your other lanes, the gank assistance versus how easily the other person can get out isn't really that good. You can get in with the Scion, but the Malphite will ult you away and be fine. You can get in on the Twisted Fate, but the Corki's not really going to help lock him up or anything like that. And he can flash, he has Ghost, he has double summoner spells for escaping. You might be able to get some of those and then regank it. But bottom lane, you have Alistar, you have Kalista ulti, you have so many tools to gank this lane and just make their life miserable.
Yeah, that flash is going to be up in just a few seconds, though. Enough time has passed. Ginormous Noob looks to contest Bacon Seeker for this ward, and he succeeds, though takes a little bit of damage.
Yeah, it's not going to matter.
He's Alistar. He's going to heal it back up.
I believe that's rank 2 heal already, despite the cooldown nerf from 6.3. He's completely fine. Same amount of healing.
Yeah, and again, this is on 6.3. We want to make sure everyone is aware of that.
No Kog'Maws.
Remarkably, no. Yeah.
A little strange.
Very strong champion. And everyone is content to just continue farming. Flash now back up for Bacon Seeker along with all of those other summoner spells. Snipe still missing his for about 20 or 30 seconds, but we haven't really seen Nexavis gank too much aside from that pressure in the mid lane.
Yeah, he got the summoner spell off the mid lane there. The Fruit Seller, you see he's down a tiny bit in CS right now. It's not too much, but remind me, Remy, he's actually a decent amount of this gold lead, and he's got ultimate. He's going top.
Uh-oh, looks like Zode is the target. Speaking of ganks,
gold card?
He flashes over. Gold card is ready. He finds Zode. Do they have the damage?
Oh,
Not
so close.
Quite enough. And Nexavis is going to get some taunts before walking away.
Oh, but that's a lot there, because now with the Fruit Seller, he's going to be able to push up this mid lane. There's no way to really return instantly. You don't have that TP. Flash and Ghost available for Remind Me Remy, but he didn't really have the follow-up damage available. There was no summoner spell, or no actual spells from Twisted Fate left.
Yeah, so unfortunate for Remind Me Remy with that blue buff.
Just walk into the cards.
Yep.
How about sometimes
it's sort of reflexive, you know. You see the card and your reaction.
Oh,
whoa,
there
action
Speaking
in the
of going
bottom.
in.
Level 6. He gets the knock-up. Flash is available for both. Who's going to be the primary target? Strategical gets ignited and chunked out, and then they have to walk away.
So they used an Ignite, but they got the Exhaust out of Bacon Seeker, which I definitely think is the superior summoner spell to get out here. The Exhaust is so key when you're fighting. I actually think Exhaust is a better in-combat summoner spell than the Ignite.
Yeah, that Exhaust, able to almost completely remove someone from a fight for a few seconds. Now it does look like University of Illinois creeping forward with a few wards. Nexavis is securing his red buff, but they just want to make sure they've got control of this bottom lane as Nexavis is spotted by a ward over the wall from Ginormous Noob, and things are looking good for University of Illinois for a team that hasn't been doing that well in 8th place with only 2 points. Things are looking okay in this early game from University of Illinois.
Yeah, they're looking fine. They're looking absolutely fine. But I do think the problem is the gold is actually going to slowly go in Ohio State's favor as time goes on, just naturally. The Twisted Fate, they're also picking up a decent amount of farm over their opponents. The only exception is that bot lane, which has been camped a bit. And is continuing to get camped because you see the Fruit Seller off on the wings with the package.
Yeah, there goes the package. Splits them off, doesn't find anyone. There goes a flash from Bacon to get out of there. Nexavis takes some damage of his own, and 4 members of Illinois bottom, but they don't get the kill.
Yeah, that was a very strange package there. Didn't even cut off Bacon Seeker. Bacon Seeker didn't have to use the ultimate, and now they lose mid pressure, but they have to go get it back with 2 members right now and push that TF out of lane.
Yeah, that's going to be traded
TF has
back.
ulti though. He could go top.
Might look for Zode. Bacon Seeker is going to be spotted out. There's the Destiny Gate. Let's see if the train from Zode is going to get him to safety. He starts charging it, and Arun pulls the trigger. A knock-up looks to find Zode along with another gold card. Kill goes over to Arun.
Because they knew the flash was down, they get to camp that top lane. And Ohio State University, they do typically play towards their top and mid lane, and they actually draft around their top and mid more often than not. But Fruit Seller in mid lane, oh, Valkyrie interrupted.
Valkyrie finds the Good old bounce house of Poppy. He gets chunked out, but gets out with his life with flash and exhaust burned.
Yeah, Poppy's base damages are incredibly high, especially when you smash somebody against the wall with the heroic charge. Then you're definitely going to be able to get that to both parts of the hammer shock, and that's an enormous amount of damage just off of level.
Excellent use of the steadfast presence from Nexevis, the primary shot caller of Ohio State University. He's taking a slow approach to this game with only that 1 kill and a few ganks on the top side of the map.
Yeah, and I think that's how Ohio State should play this out. As time is going on, you're seeing this gold lead, and of course, when you're in game, you don't see this gold lead. It's about 600 now for Ohio State University. So over time, they're just slowly but surely getting more and more of a lead, despite everything being even. And that was even first blood to University of Illinois. So there should be a 100 gold advantage if everything was just completely even, but it's not. So Ohio State University just seem to be superior laners by just a small margin, but it's one that keeps ticking up.
Very slow additive growth for Ohio State as they continue to pressure forward. Snipe seems to be doing rather well in CS. He's keeping pace with Ohio State, but just about everyone else from Illinois seems to be having a bit of trouble.
Yeah, and of course, Minsu is bot lane again, and you were talking about shot callers for Ohio State. Both Minsu and Ginormous Noob share shot calling duties on this squad. And if Bacon Seeker walks too far forward, he has no flash. Go after Bacon.
Gets pulled out. Bacon is the target. He's double knocked up, triple knocked up, quadruple knocked up. Monsoon keeps him alive, and he's trying to channel it. Exhaust stunned against the wall. Snipe goes down to strategical, and they're turning this around. There's a late teleport. Arun does not have his unstoppable force just yet. Here comes Zode. He tries to land the disruption, and it seems like all 5 members of Ohio State have joined up. There it goes, coming off of cooldown. They find Zode. 2 kills for OSU.
And that's the team fight from Ohio State University that they were talking about. But Zode, he gets the bacon.
Oh, Heartseek, Bacon Seeker goes down.
Oh, man. When you're dead, you still crave bacon.
Yeah.
We've solved that mystery.
Not quite respecting that damage onto the undead Scion. They're actually going to be starting off this dragon. Here comes the rest of University of Illinois
Slightly
looking to collapse. Yeah.
It's not that risky, though. Ginormous Noob, he does have flash and ultimate, and a lot of ultis were used on the side of Ohio State. They're engaged and they're disengaged both.
And they will be able to secure it. Stun finds Minsu. Nexevis is actually chunked really low. Takes some damage from Snipe in addition, and they back off.
Yep, not able to actually continue to engage there. Just too much damage coming out, and Ginormous Noob no longer having the ultimate was a big deal there, because he could have dove in and caused a lot of disruption. But that bot lane fight was rather curious. I do think that Bacon Seeker, there was an opportunity to kill him, there was an opportunity to take him out, and I actually think Snipe using the Calista ulti was bad. I think you should have just flash pulverized and then knocked him into that first bush, because it's way longer and it's much more distance, or much shorter distance between your turret and where he would be. So the teleport location would be worse. You'd have Lucian further away, and then if you needed it, then you can ultimate and get him out of there if he's going down. So I think that the flash should have been used from Ginormous Noob, because he didn't even use it to escape or anything after.
Bacon Seeker did have a full channel of the Monsoon, perhaps saving that.
Yeah, so yeah, you could even use the ultimate for Calista to just interrupt that. But I definitely think that you should have at least saved something for that, if you're not going to kill him straight off. And if you're not going to kill him straight off, then you definitely want him to be closer to your turret and where everybody else is going to be. So.
A little bit of late shot calling. There goes the
Bot
Destiny
lane?
Gate. They're looking for Snipe. He is going to get some good damage. Gold card finds him. Strategical bursts down that Calista.
And that's the worst feeling in the world when you're playing AD carry. The Twisted Fate shows up on top of you, and you have no way to escape, and you don't have heal. And he's got both summoner spells too, so even if you did flash and you're faster than him, he's going to catch up. And he has Lichbane first item, so he's just looking for that burst. He's not going to be able to 1v1 you. He's going to have just a really quick burst on top of his CC. But meanwhile, though, the mid lane, it is being pushed in here by University of Illinois, and they're going to get a turret.
Yeah, that first turret of the game is actually secured by Illinois, though Strategical looks to answer on the other side of the map with a turret of his own, slowly whittling it down, with the meaning is he's going to be successful and answers 1-for-1 in turrets. So that is the trade. You've got your skilled player, remind me Remy, on that mobile Twisted Fate, ganking side lanes. University of Illinois, so far they've only answered with that turret tier 1 objective.
Yeah, and you're talking about Remy being the best player on the side of Ohio State University. The Fruit Seller is actually the newest member to the University of Illinois team. So he has the most synergy problems out of everybody, and it's definitely showing in this game. He's a little bit behind here. He's got the quirky pick into a Twisted Fate that now has Lich Bane, and trying to make plays is becoming really difficult. He's behind 2 levels. He's struggling, and it's only going to get worse from here.
Yeah, down 20 CS. You can see he's got the package right now. They might be looking for a play onto Arun, but that was Ohio State sending Strategical and Bacon Seeker to the top lane. Weren't able to find anything, so they're heading back towards mid. Fruit Seller, the package has got about 20 seconds left. We'll see if he pulls the trigger. 15 as it slowly counts down. Nexevis is waiting in the wings.
They're going to see him with their Rek'Sai, though, and then he's just going to back up. No real target for him. Everybody's kind of avoiding him, and that mid lane turret's already gone. You are taking top lane turret damage in the meantime, so it's a little curious that more members of the team of University of Illinois are not up here to defend it. Looking for a play bottom, but that moment may have passed.
Again, this is the coordination. Whoa, speaking of which, Strategical might be caught. Dashes, gets knocked up and knocked out. He's going to take a lot of damage here. He goes down, shut down by his knife. Bacon Seeker is even split off on the side.
Yeah, Strategical, no flash used there, so he doesn't even get summoner spells out of his enemies. And very easy there. Minsu uses his flash to just get in and get that knockup, but none used in return from Ohio State. But they do go after a turret here and try to get a turret trade for that bot one.
Yeah, it is a 1-for-1 turret trade when it's all said and done. There goes the Destiny Gate. Instantly, Zode starts backing up, but the gold card still finds him. He's just riding back to safety.
That's what he's been trying to do, is be invulnerable to that yellow card, but Arun's been outplaying it. Arun knows this interaction where if you ultimate with Malphite, you'll actually be right in front of the Scion ultimate, and you'll actually stop his ulti.
Because it's about the collision. You have to hit a champion in order to stop them.
Or a wall.
Yes, well, Malphite's a little bit of both in this game. 18 minutes in, even in gold, even in turrets, though we do have a slight kill lead in favor of Ohio State with that one and the first dragon in addition. No priority been put on that Rift Herald just yet. Dragon now spawning in 1 minute and 20 seconds.
Yeah, and you're seeing the difference here, the team play from Ohio State University versus the skirmish and kind of individual skill of University of Illinois, and playing towards that bot lane. I think this is how you open the game up. It's even right now, but if Illinois want to get a win here and stay in contention for a playoff spot, then they definitely have to play through this Callista, who has all of the kills on the team, except for that one on Zode. So I think this is what you do. You get that Hurricane, you get this guy going, and you feed him. Make sure he's fed. Because now Lucian is 3-1. He's pretty much even.
Yeah, scary situation. Zode, he's actually just standing there, taking damage from both Arun and the minions. I don't know that he spotted Nexevis, though.
Yeah, he's got to watch out for him. He's going to be a little bit overconfident here, though, because Rek'Sai is really close by. See what happens. Nexevis comes in.
Yeah, shows himself, has to back away. Here comes Bacon Seeker in addition. Zode, he takes off. He's going to bounce off the wall on his way back to the Tier 2, but this Tier 1 turret is secured by Ohio State.
Yep, and that's going to be all 3 outer turrets taken by Ohio State University. And University of Illinois, they still have that top lane turret to take. That's been the roughest lane for them so far. The mid lane has looked a little rough, but in terms of that top lane, that's where the focus has been from Ohio State. And Ohio overall just playing the map pretty well.
Looks like they're giving up this second dragon, though. Just a bit late to the draw. Spot out University of Illinois. Let's see if Remind Me can find. Yeah, he's coming in from behind. No home guard just yet. Flash, and it's stolen, in fact, by Nexevis. He finds Minsu over the wall. This is going to be a dangerous situation as Arun joins the fight. Knockup. Everyone is locked up together. Arun's so tanky, and Nexevis, he's got to be careful here. Zode is successfully keeping OSU at bay. Zode now turns on to Nexevis. He gets into the Monsoon for the heal. Zode finally going to be the first to go down in this extended engage, but he still might look for another revenge kill, as he did earlier. He's chasing Nexevis down. Oh, God. Finally, he drops at the end. And Illinois have to back away.
Ah, Swifties! Sometimes those boots they're better than those brown paper bags.
Yeah. Okay, blue buff in addition also being secured by Ohio State University. Not only did they take the second dragon, they turned that around and picked up a kill, then stole the blue buff. Ohio State demonstrating their synergy once again.
Yeah, they had that pink ward by the blue, perfect TP location for Arun, comes in from the side, splits the team, and he's able to soak up enough damage, but oh, Bacon Seeker.
He gets knocked up and knocked back once again. Oh, man. We were just praising you and your team, man.
They finally get these wards out of their jungle.
Yeah.
Make sure there's no sneaky TP play again. But yeah, Arun showed up. He was back in base, and they knew it, but then the TP location may have taken them slightly off guard. And he comes in from the side, and when you're able to get to the AD carries that easily, then it becomes a big problem. Also, the CC chain in the pit was quite good. I actually really liked the knock-up there from Nexavis following the Malphite ultimate.
Keeping Fruit Seller and Snipe occupied for as long as possible. They're looking top now for the Tier 1 turret. Strategical already on his way out of there. He doesn't want to take any chances, though. Here comes the rest of Ohio State University. They might try to take this turret, as their blue buff did just spawn. All 10 members collapsing, yeah.
You have to watch out. Minsu?
Ooh, Gold Card finds Fruit Seller. He's destroyed by Nexavis. Ohio State pull the trigger and force a punishment out of University of Illinois. Double kill for Nexavis now.
They just all 5 members of Ohio State University just show up top, and they're able to get the fight they want. And now, here's remind me, Remy, from the front.
Oh, that's a tricky situation. Yeah, he might have cut off their escape path, but he also cut off his own.
Yeah, it's definitely a tricky situation there where he doesn't know, am I going in, am I not? I'm
left,
a little far forward.
Oh gosh, can they kill me before my team gets here? Doesn't have his own yet. He's got Luden's first with those 6 assists, 3, 1, and 3. And taking a look at the general scoreline, you can see how Ohio State play. 5 kill participation, 5, 6, 6, and 6.
Yep.
These guys like to group up and make things happen as a team.
And then you can see on the opposite side, there's 4 kills, but 3 assists, 2, 1. There's some people who have 0 assists, but they're the people who picked up the kills. So there's small skirmishes here. So
all of the action is around Snipe and Ginormous Noob with Minsu, trying to facilitate that.
Yep.
Oh, speaking of action, there it is.
Another
Snipe
catch.
and Ginormous Noob with another catch on the strategical. Blue buff is secured by Remy as he retreats.
Darren? Or
That's
just
a
push
question
mid.
mark?
Yeah, it's very early on. The Scuttle Crab's already taken. So just push mid. Yeah, you have the Trinity Force power spike onto your Corki. That's what they're trying to use top lane to get that turret, but they're just going to look for a tier 2 here, or at least jungle control, so they can possibly revisit it. Because some of their members are just going to clear sideways. Because look at that. They're tier 2 top and they're tier 2 bottom. You can't let that gold go to waste. So they really don't get too much out of Strategical's death.
And the vision of University of Illinois has much improved since the early game. They've got deep wards and defensive wards all throughout their own and Ohio State's jungle, just to make sure they can continue to hunt and seek for these picks, these donations from Ohio State University. And it seems like everyone is now just farm it up, playing it safe. They don't want to get picked off anymore. And finally, Ohio State is going to try clearing out some of these wards.
Yeah, it becomes really difficult to play the style that you want on University of Illinois' side. Because they love skirmishes and they love just having this individual skill show, Twisted Fate destroys that. Because Twisted Fate plays the map, and Twisted Fate will create it. Will make any skirmish into a numbers advantage. And here we go, again.
Yeah, speaking of skirmish, there he goes, knocked up once again. Zode brought to half. He's still got some time, and he's actually going to get out of there with his life.
Yep, gets 2 ultimates for 1 and his flash, but of course it's definitely hard to take advantage of that. The ultimate from Twisted Fate comes back up pretty quickly, and now the Lich Bane having cooldown is beneficial for that too. I do think that, back to the Twisted Fate point, it's so hard if you want to play the style that Illinois do, because in order to beat Twisted Fate, you group.
Uh-oh, remind me, Remy. Ooh, flash knockup finds him. He flashes to get away from Fruit Seller before chunking him down to half with a Ludens.
With so much damage. But look at these side waves. They're just being pushed in. So what Ohio State University are doing are saying, hey, group up and fight us 5-on-5 or 5-on-4. And then every time University of Illinois do, they just shove out side waves and 1-3-1 them.
Group us and fight us at your loss.
Yes.
Even if you win the fight, you're going to lose some minions on the side.
Yeah, they think they're superior at playing the map and also superior at playing the team fight. So,
Nexavis, yeah, finds Ginormous Noob, who manages to clear the ward. He's still got his Callista nearby, so Noob can afford to play a little bit loosey-goosey as he bullies Nexavis away. Arun, though, continuing to contest the vision. Remember, 2 minutes ago, we were just praising the vision.
And this is interesting because what they did is they shoved out the side waves, so Ohio State University had advantages there. In order to counter that, University of Illinois, they have to shove those waves out, divide, and then the Malphite starts looking for a pick or a way to start the fight on the 3 members that are defending, because you're countering the 1-3-1 after it happened. So it's kind of this back and forth where we're 1-3-1, and then as soon as the other team goes 1-3-1, you're 5. and then you go back and forth, back and forth. And if you're the team that's one step ahead and you're not forcing the issue, then you're playing reactionary, and it's really hard to get anything out of playing reactionary against that style.
Dragon looks to be contested. Minsu is going to be picked up against the wall. Nexavis taking just a bit of damage as he's in the front line. 26 minutes in. This is Dragon number 3 for Ohio State University. Illinois look to contest. They're grouped as 5, however. Dragon gets chunked out. Arun dodges the knockup. Dragon is actually resetting and healing a bit. Back up to 2,000 now. They've got to try bursting it down. Minsu looks for the steal. It's secured by Nexavis. They're trying to turn it into a fight in favor. Looks like Strategical's forced to back out from Ginormous Noob. Nexavis, the primary target. He's so tanky, though. Gets a huge knockup, absolutely separating Snipe from the fight. This could be Ohio's chance to break this game wide open, but instead they take the Dragon, and they're forced to kite back and run away from University of Illinois.
Of course, they do get that Dragon, so it's the 3rd Dragon. They get to run away a little bit faster and make sure that they have that. But University of Illinois, they're just going to clear out the mid wave. They don't lose too much for it. There's a decent amount of summoner spells still left. Nothing really blown here from either side. Just the Malphite ultimate and Malphite flash. So not able to start off that fight on the way that Ohio State University wanted to. So I definitely think that Malphite ultimate could have been used a little bit better, but they seem to be on different pages where they just wanted to get the Dragon and get out.
Yeah.
And then they wanted to engage afterwards, and then it wasn't really a good engage. But, of course, nobody died, so it ended up being fine.
It is kind of scary that we're seeing Illinois play up to such a high level for a team that is 8th place in the standings. So far, they've only won 2 out of their previous 10 games for 2 points. They're keeping pace with Ohio State. And that could be a little concerning for OSU.
Yeah, it's definitely a little concerning for OSU. But of course, the way that these teams were talking about each other, Ohio State University was saying, Illinois, we're surprised they aren't higher in the standings. They were very surprised that they were 8th place because they expected them, based off of their solo queue and their MMR, that they were going to be a team that's in that top 4. And when we talked to Illinois, they also talked about how they expected to be a top 4 school. They expected to be top 4 in the conference. You see, Dragon's taken, chunked down already, and then Ginormous Noob goes in, and now Arun's looking for an ultimate on the back line. But here comes the ultimate, boom. But he hits right as the Poppy ultimate hits Kalista away. So Snipe goes away, Arun only gets a 180 carry ultimate, and then they can't really continue that fight at that point. So it gets disengaged, and both Ohio and Illinois walk away unscathed, but the Dragon, once again, to Ohio.
Yeah, and that is the 3rd Dragon, so it could be as soon as 12 minutes before we see that next Dragon 5 for Ohio State University. Season 6, we haven't seen a lot of them, but they still are exceptionally powerful, and on 6.3 with Dragon 2 and Dragon 4 being just a little bit more enabling to the teams, this could be stacking in Ohio State's favor. As you can see, we have now returned back to the Rift. That pause has been sorted out, and it's still very even. Only a 3,000 gold difference between the teams.
Yeah, and like you were talking about the Dragons, Dragon 4, much easier to dive, and Dragon 2 is actually a bit worse if your team is grouped up in sieging, because only one person can actually use the burn at a time. If everybody's hitting the turret, but it's better if you have something long range that hits the turret one time and then it ticks down. So if you have one sieger who's really getting damage on the turret, then it's better, or if you're split pushing.
We'll see how that works out for Ohio State. I mean, they have been oscillating between the 1-3-1 and the 5. This time they are now grouped up as 5 members in the mid and Baron area. But they look ready to pull the trigger on that 1-3-1 as they've got waves pushing in the top and pushing in the bottom. The side wave control for Ohio State has been phenomenal this game.
Yeah, clearing those waves out and making sure that they push forward. Now setting up Baron Vision, making sure that that isn't something that Illinois try to use to get back into this game, and making Illinois eventually fight them for a 4th, 5th Dragon. And I think that's where most of the action is going to happen. Despite having a Twisted Fate and the pick potential and the 1-3-1 from Ohio State, it's going to come down to a lot of these Dragons. At least that's what I'm predicting, because 5th Dragon is just, you have to fight us. And 4th Dragon is, you want to stop us from having, you need to take the next fight. Yeah. So it's kind of two requirements.
It's a sort of Damocles situation, just dangling over your head. You never know if it's going to drop or not, but you have to be ready. 29 minutes in, Ohio State University leading in Dragons, playing a very patient game. University of Illinois trying to skirmish when they feel they get an advantage, but Ohio State has been turning it rather successfully time and time again. And as they get towards those late game items, it's going to be more and more difficult for University of Illinois to close this out.
Yeah, it's going to become difficult for them, especially since you have a Malphite and you have a Poppy, you have these gigantic tanks that will be able to lock up your AD carries. Speaking of lock up an AD carry.
Ooh, there goes a Valkyrie from Fruit Seller. His package just wore off, but he's still able to Valk to safety.
Getting the package to wear off there. No engage. Haven't really seen a package used to great effect. The one used bottom didn't end up in any kills in favor of University of Illinois. And pretty much just a disengaged situation. But he backs, he gets the rapid fire cannon, has himself a Hex Drinker for that magic resistance, and they're pretty much stacking magic resist here too. You see a lot of Spectre's Cowls, and that's the second magic resistance item for that top lane there for Zod on that Scion. But it seems like a big prioritization on it, and not sure if you should go that deep into it, but I think that it's fine.
We'll see if he gets that Banshee's Veil Spirit Visage Nexavis.
Yep. Stunts it. I love it. So Poppy has this fun thing where she gets to walk over like next to walls like that all the time and avoid your CC if it has a dash in it. But if you're walking by a wall, you have to avoid her because she's going to dash into you.
Yeah, they're looking now for the top tier 1. Arun leading the charge. Gold card finds Minsu. Can they burst him down? They knocked Arun back. Can they keep him locked down before he finds his target? He finds Snipe in the meanwhile. Culling is going to do a lot of damage. Flash, he's still going low. Keeper's Verdict separates the fight. Arun and Nexavis trying to bring down that back line. Can he succeed? Snipe is able to kite it around Zod. Gets some good damage and Remind Me goes deep into the back and is able to pick off Snipe. Zod goes down as well. 2 kills Ohio State.
Oh, Snipe. He had so many stacks inside of Arun and Nexavis, but they both get away before he can actually rip the spears from them. That is tragic because then he ends up eating, I think, maybe a card off on the side. I wasn't able to see it, but I think he got clipped by one.
Yeah, a stray card from Remind Me. Might have been able to secure that. 2 kills, currently 5-3 in favor of Ohio State. They're going to use this time to prepare for Dragon number 4. As you can see, Nexavis and Arun, the dynamic duo, running towards the Dragon Pit to get down in a few additional wards and try to make sure that University of Illinois can't contest, because this is setting up for that Dragon fight.
Yeah, and it's a close game. It's about 4,000, 3,500 gold between these two teams, and it's rather tense here because Ohio State University, if they win this, they make playoffs.
Uh-oh, Minsu could be caught out here. He's got to wait for it to drop. He finally does. Forced to flash as he uses his knockup on Arun.
He hasn't used his E yet.
Uh-oh, might have the gold card stacked and ready. Finally, he rides the tunnel. Stun still finds him, but he's out to safety.
Yep, stuns don't stop the tunnel from Rek'Sai, only displacements. So now the siege begins, and you have to back if you're Minsu, but that's Dragon being alive right now, and you just chunked out the jungler. He has no ulti either, so he's not going to be able to get back right on time. If you start this now, there's no chance of a smite steal.
Yeah, this Dragon being burned down for Ohio State. Bacon Seeker is trying to buy some time, denying vision, tossing out knockups. But Dragon 4 is secured for Ohio State University 32 minutes in. That's a 38-minute Dragon 5. And Arun, once again, just using that foreboding presence.
But University of Illinois, it looks like they half want that fight, half don't want that fight. You really have to get out of those choke points, though, when you're going up against the Malphite. Just ends up being a disaster at that point. And you can see this is where the side wave management comes into play. Because Remind Me Remy goes down bottom. Has Zhonya's third item completed, ready to engage these fights, but also just clearing out side waves, causing this pressure, forcing Illinois to have to go to these points, and then you get to predict their movements.
Uh-oh, Bacon Seeker might be caught out. Ginormous Noob isn't going to go for the Headbutt Pulverize combo. Lets that Janna away with a warning. And clears the ward as well. Not allowed to walk down these halls without a pass.
Yeah.
33.5 minutes in. Ohio State leading with a very small amount of gold. But University of Illinois, they've got items. They've got just a very similar amount of gold. If they can find the fight they're looking for, they can very conceivably win this game. But Ohio State has not been letting that happen.
Yeah, it's only about a 3,000 gold lead here, but it is even, right? There's really nothing you can say about that, except for, the scaling is going to come into play. Both teams actually have decent scaling. I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. I just think ripping through the double tanks on Ohio State will become a problem eventually, but now you have to look for these engages. Looks like they're just going to go actually down mid lane here, wave clear.
Yeah, might be trying to collapse onto Strategical and Remind Me Remy as they shove up a wave in the mid lane. Ginormous Noob is there to catch it, while the rest of his team takes the long way around.
Yeah, this just becomes harder to protect Snipe as time goes on, because Remind Me Remy will get to the backline with his ultimate. You're going to have the Malphite ultimate threatening your AD carry, so having a fed AD carry on the squad
isn't going to be too beneficial because they might just chunk him out and kill him. Gotta keep him safe, though.
They pull the trigger. Ghost has now been used. Zode seems to be the primary target. He's so tanky, but only finds a wall. No knockups. Looking for some disruption, but Arun is so tanky. An answer finds a 3-man knockup, and so far they haven't gotten anyone, but Zode is so low. The shield keeps him alive, and Kalista's actually going to get a kill on the far side, killing Nexivus. Minsu buys some more time. In addition, there goes a card. It finds Zode. It's not enough. 2 members of University of Illinois are about to go down here. Double kill for Strategical, and Ohio State pressure forward.
Yep, and they're going to be able to take this turret, no problem. The Lich Bane and the Wave Clear here, they might even be able to take 2 before you're able to back on Illinois' side and get your home guard into this fight again. There is a package available. Don't know if you'll pick it up and try to chase them down, but it'd be very risky.
Yeah, the inhibitor turret already goes down. The inhibitor itself chunked to half. Here he comes dashing in. Knockup finds Remind Me Remy. He's got his gold card prepped. He's on top of the package. Zanyas is buying him time. Knockup is not going to find him, but he's locked down. Zode nets that one.
There's the package coming in, and they stayed too long. No inhibitor over to the side of Ohio either. So Illinois, they're in a position now where they could actually possibly go for a Baron or force it. You do have to get it in the next few seconds, though. There's 10 on to Snipe, so there's about maybe a 10-second window where you can do Baron and then not have Remind Me Remy up. But you'll ulti immediately. It becomes very risky. Get control of it, and then make your decision from there based on the time that you have. And the minion waves, too.
Yeah, such a small window for University of Illinois to play with, but I don't know that they're going to be able to secure it.
He's got to go bottom clear this gigantic wave that's just been pushing, so... It's funny because there's all of these opportunities, but they're being stopped by minions.
It's the side wave control for Ohio State University. We mentioned it earlier. These guys have had such excellent minion prepping in their side lanes just to make sure that even when University of Illinois get an opening, they can't capitalize. Because you lose minions on one side wave, you lose a turret in another. It's so difficult to answer against a team that's playing the map so effectively.
Yeah, they're playing that minion wave control game. And now I'm seeing the items come in, too. Lord Dominic's regards for Strategical is actually going to be very big. You're going to be able to get through that armor of the Rek'Sai as well as the armor of Zode. So these aren't going to be very tanky tanks much longer.
We'll see if Illinois can survive just a little bit longer. Recall from Arun. He's going to net him an Abyssal on top of that. He's got his teleport and is now grouping up with the rest of his team as they're trying to clear out Baron Vision. It seems like Ohio State might finally be ready to pull that trigger on a 5v5
Does Ginormous
fight.
Noob have the inside track? He does, but he actually doesn't take it against Poppy and Janna. So Bacon Seeker, they don't wrap around, they don't try to engage. They are going to have to fight here, though, because Zode is caught.
Yeah, pinned against the wall. He's going to be shredded out by Bacon Seeker and the rest of Ohio State. Ginormous Noob gets chunked out, forced to use the Unbreakable Will. Zode is still locked down. He gets dropped despite the knockup, but this is exactly what Sion wants. He's going to look for some damage in the choke. Strategical's too far forward, gets caught and sniped by Snipe. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but that's a top for an 80 carry.
So what was happening there is all of those tanks were just piling onto Zode, who was soaking that damage for so long, and Remind Me Remy was trying to zone out Snipe, and then Strategical came up as well in an attempt to help the zoning because Snipe wanted to turn the corner and hit multiple tanks with his rune ants. Instead, Remind Me Remy has to back up. He immediately jumps onto Strategical, and Ginormous Noob sees the opportunity. So your tanks are fighting. Your 80 carry wants to get in. The zoning was good by Ohio, but Remy broke the line. And that's immediately when Strategical was able to walk too far forward and get picked off.
Yeah, destroyed by that 3-item Callista. 38 minutes in, 20 seconds till that dragon, and 10 for Strategical. He might have cost them that Dragon 4. You can bet Nexivus is going to fight for it, but it's a dangerous situation. Destiny Gate is going to find Fruit Seller split off from the rest of his team, but they don't pull the trigger. Instead, they look for the mid lane. There goes the home guard. Dragon has spawned.
So if you get Callista Ren into this, there should be no chance of a smite steal. Of course, it's later in the game. Got to keep Nexivus out.
Yeah, he just pulls the trigger on a fight, and oh, it is going to be secured by University of Illinois. They're still looking for the fight, though. Snipe is taking a lot of damage. Knockup buys him time. Stunned against the wall. No, he's not. He makes it over and alive.
Still doing damage.
Is getting knocked over. In addition, more damage dealt by Snipe. Meanwhile, Ohio State are trying to turn this around and pick up a kill for some revenge, but they don't get the dragon, and they don't get the kill.
I'm so surprised that Ohio did not keep going there. Just, I think the low mana bars made them stop because there were 3 members, the Fruit Seller, Minsu, and also Snipe, who were pretty low. And Zode was also like a little bit of HP, but I still think that this was an opportunity that you could have kept going, but Strategical and Remind Me didn't have too much left in that mono tank.
Yeah, Ohio State leaving a way for University of Illinois back into this game, not quite finishing off University of Illinois after that fight. And Znipe, as you mentioned, he's playing particularly well.
He's 70 CS up. They're funneling so much gold into this guy, and I think it's the right thing to do. They have the peel for him now. They're able to keep him alive a bit, and I think that QSS, if he's able to QSS knockups appropriately and then flash away, or QSS knockups and then jump away with a Q, then he'll be in a good spot. But here comes the Baron. You don't have Arun. Arun doesn't have ulti for a couple seconds. He does have TP, though, but you have to watch out for Nexus.
Nexus looking for the smite steal. The Ren smite is ready.
Oh, we got him out of the pit!
Pulls them away from the pit. Are they going to try to burn it down? It's at 2,000 health. The Ren stacks actually wear off. Can they get it in time? Damage coming from over the wall, and it is going to be secured intact. It's University of Illinois. That Baron was at 3 health. Minsu now going to be stunned, and looks like they're going to turn it around. Reminding Remy gets dropped. Arun cannot save him. Snipe is still alive, and University of Illinois might have found their way back into this, but Strategical has something to say about that. He takes down the 2 with a double kill.
Oh, Snipe was not able to continue jumping there, and that's what ended up killing him. So it's 2 for 1, but they get a Baron on the side. Oh my god, that's 2 for 2!
Bacon Seeker giving up a kill, giving up the Rampage over to Fruit Seller for no reason. This is the inhibitor now going down for Ohio State University. It's 3 versus 3 right now. But Ohio State University, they keep on making the tiniest of mistakes, and University of Illinois come charging through.
Yeah, TP up for Zode. Doesn't look like a TP play will come through here. Nexus, though, man, that was a really good Poppy ultimate to get them out of the pit. A good heads-up play, but it came down to that smite. He made the Callista not be a factor in it. The Ren stacks wear off, but the Corky rocket, the Fruit Seller is the one who ended up securing that with a rocket over the wall.
Yeah, a very close game between 2nd place Ohio State and 8th place University of Illinois. And University of Illinois, if they lose one game, they will be disqualified from making it into the playoffs. It will be impossible for them to make it back in. And they are fighting for their lives right now.
Disqualified sounds like we're kicking them out. They're not
they're not disqualified. They just can't make it.
Yeah,
they won't have enough points.
They would be unable to make the playoffs.
Yes.
Just due to points and the fact that you only take top 4 out of the 8, and they'd still be sitting around that 8th place spot in the bottom half. But once again, we'll look at this replay here. This is the one I was talking about. Multiple tanks there. Right on the right side of your screen, you can't see it, it's just barely off. Snipe is trying to make the decision, can I go in, can I not go in? He throws in the Alistar, and now Snipe has to walk back and forth. His damage here is not very good, but he uses the gold card onto the Alistar, and that's immediately where you have to back off. The gold card the CC used on the tank instead of what you were using to zone is what made that happen. This good heads-up play by Poppy, boom, moves to the side so he can actually hit those members out. Tries to go after Rek'Sai here. No real focus. He's too tanky. He's going to go down before then. 3 health. It goes back up to 16, and then it gets taken by Corky, of all champions, over the wall. And then the ultimate comes through, and then they start to engage afterwards. But so this has just been a hectic game. It's been a game back and forth. You expected the number 2 team, Ohio State, to take this pretty handily, but it's coming down to the wire here. 5th Dragon will be on the table very shortly, and Baron buff, I still believe, is in the hands of University of Illinois for a little bit longer.
And this game is almost a direct juxtaposition between these two styles. You've got the skirmishing, fighting University of Illinois versus the 5v5 and map play of Ohio State University.
Yeah, but Illinois actually drafted themselves a pretty good composition for team fighting with the double AD carry. You also have the Scion in the top lane for multiple CCs. And then Ginormous Noob is just playing this really well alongside the Callista. I think that the Callista-Alistar combo is something that was given over to Illinois. And in Game 2, if Illinois win this, or even if they don't win this, I think you break that combo up. I think if you are Ohio State, you make sure they can't get both of them.
Well, they will be on red side for that game number 2. We'll see how they adjust their pick and ban as we get towards it. For now, though, that middle inhibitor did go down. Ohio State, they took the turret earlier. Off the back of that fight, they were finally able to break down that inhibitor, though University of Illinois have got Baron and, in fact, have the push advantage as they're grouped up with that minion wave.
Yeah, Baron buff will be falling off very shortly, though. Zode with TP advantage pushing top, so they have pressure in 2 lanes. Package is up. You don't want to take it now. If he takes it now, I'm going to yell at him. Don't take it now. What are you doing?
Oh, he is going to take it. Dragon's not up for another 100 seconds, and there's only 60 seconds left on that package. It's do or die time, and in fact, Fruit Seller might have just cost him that Dragon.
So if he ends up making a play now, and killing somebody, they will be up in time for Dragon. So he has to kill somebody near the end of the package cooldown or duration, and then he'll be able to. But I think that taking the package there was a little bit of a mistake. I think that you hold on to it. But you know what? He could prove me wrong here, but I still think it's not the right play, the optimal play.
Yeah, there goes the Destiny. No gate going to be used as it looks like the Baron buff falls off of University of Illinois. Ohio State prepared by sending a wave in the mid lane. They could look to collapse. There goes the package. They're looking for Remind Me Remy. Good damage. Big one is going to miss, and he ghosts to safety.
Yep, and now he gets to back. There's 50 seconds on this Dragon 5 for Ohio State.
So he knew it. The fruit seller knew that's what he had to do. He tried, but just missed the package on to Remind Me Remy.
He got Ghost, and everybody's flashes are going to be up for this fight, except for Strategical will be very close, and Arun's will probably be up. So it's going to come down to a couple summoner spells here, whereas everybody on the side of Illinois will have theirs.
There goes the Abyssal Voyage as Minsu finds his way back into the mid lane. Here comes Ginormous Noob in addition. This is going to be a big 5v5.
Unless University of Illinois find a way to secure this Dragon, this may be the final fight of the game, with Illinois just barely holding on. If they can win this team fight, they can win the game. It's 45 minutes in, and Ohio State, if they get the Dragon, they can win.
Uh-oh, Bacon Seeker takes some big damage as he's knocked up. They pull the trigger onto Snipe, but the rest of the team isn't there. Arun is too deep into enemy territory. Nexus finally catches up. They found now Fruit Seller pinned against the wall. The two carries are separated. Nexus single-handedly keeping them occupied. He's going to go down to Zode when it's all said and done. Remind Me Remy can't get back there. Tosses out a card. Minsu is buying so much time. He drops to Strategical, but it's answered with a death. Oh man, Zode in the front line. He's going to drop as well. 2-for-1 favor of Ohio State, but there's no jungler for either team.
Exactly, no jungler here, so it's going to come down to skills, and that might be the difference here. Now you zone, heals coming in from Ginormous Noob. The three members, two of them are extraordinarily low. This is going to be Dragon 5.
And Dragon 5 secured by Ohio State University. That's going to be burning for a solid 4 minutes. University of Illinois, they've got a very, very tough road ahead of them.
Oh, man. You're not already winning team fights, and when it comes down to fighting a Dragon 5 team, it's pretty much the nail in the coffin at that point. The Fruit Seller, I think that having the package for that fight would have been amazing. It would have been a great opportunity to have a double Valkyrie, have another way to escape, being able to reposition away from Snipe, or even cut off the fight. So I think it was just a big oversight there that he had taken that so early on. Snipe, though, he did get zoned out, and fighting in a choke point and being forced to fight in that choke was definitely in favor of Ohio State University. It's much harder to dodge cards, there's much less room, and Malphite's just constantly getting ease on both of your marksmen, so slowed attack speed, never a good thing in a fight.
Yeah, blue buff has been secured. Destiny Gate, he is indeed looking for Snipe. He does have Cleanse, though, and gets some good damage on to Remind Me Remy, but Snipe chunked out.
He's got flash, he's got flash. Is Remind Me Remy going to keep going?
No. Knockup finds it. They get Snipe away from it. Now Baron's going to be up in 40 seconds. Now Ginormous Noob is going to be the target.
They have 5th Dragon, and you're so far out of your base.
Oh,
Illinois are pulled.
Ginormous Noob are getting burned quite a bit. Minsu gets a good knockup, but there's no Snipe. This is effectively a 5v4. Ginormous Noob goes down. Minsu is going to drop as well. Double kill for Strategical. Zode running back with the rest of his team. It's 5v3. No Baron, but Dragon 5 still going to be up for another few seconds.
And this is exactly what University of Illinois were talking about. Solo Q rears its ugly face. And now you're going to see this Dragon 5 team with Ohio State. They might be securing their playoff spot right here.
They don't have any minions just yet, though. Still a long way away. 3 members end up going down for the extended engage, and Baron has just spawned.
Yeah, this seems a little bit too reserved because there's 50 seconds on Zode. Your minion wave will be up there in about 20. So you'll be able to get at least one turret, but they're going to go with this play. It's super simple. Make sure that you're not facing the double AD carries. Get yourself that Baron. And now Baron and 5th Dragon, which has a quarter of the duration left on it for Ohio. They might not even back here, just look for more in terms of turrets and inhibitors.
Yeah, could be looking for that top tier 2 turret before getting a quick recall in with Baron. Let's see if Illinois can't quite do anything to respond. They've got Fruit Seller in the bottom lane clearing out waves. So. Snipe not even there. He's in the mid lane. That's going to be the tier 2 going down with no answer. And there's a quick safety recall out of Ohio State. They don't want to take any chances at half health with these buys, though. And Baron for another 3 minutes. Ohio State have got all the time and all the momentum.
Yep. About a 5,000 gold lead here for them. They will have the Baron buff, but Dragon 5 does wear off. I'm actually interested in this build here from Nexavis because he's got a black cleaver just to help Lucian pretty much. That's the only person on the team that's going to be benefiting from that item. It does have good CDR on it. The Iceborne Gauntlet is, I think, really good for catching double AD carries and slowing them down. So he went with this item, similar CDR, more HP, less armor, but it's more offensive. I used to buy this on Poppy all the time, and then I ditched it for the Iceborne Gauntlet because I honestly think it's a better team item, but he wants that movement speed. He wants to be able to keep up with the AD carries.
With a quick push, Ohio State University take out the bottom tier 2, the last tier 2 of University of Illinois, before escorting a large minion wave under the turret and destroying it in the blink of an eye. The inhibitor follows. There's no answer from University of Illinois. They're just being smothered by this pressure from Ohio State, and there's nothing they can do.
Yep. Nothing they can really do about this, and you're going to have super minions in 2 waves. The Baron buff for a couple more minutes here. On Ohio State University side, they're just going to look at this top turret. They're going to look at the top turret and inhibitor, try to go for 3 inhibs and close the game out. The second place team against the 8th place team is being taken to a 50-minute game here, and it's still rather neck and neck. We see 6 items coming out for Callista, so the gold doesn't matter between the 80 carries. The upgraded boots are not in, though.
Ooh, Bacon Seeker forced to flash away from the Fate's Call of Snipe. Almost caught out of position there, but the vision keeps them alive. This is Baron still escorting the wave towards that last tier 2.
I really want to know how much gold Snipe has, because if he could upgrade his boots, it's actually worth it.
Recall actually completed out of a few members. They're not going to push down the tier 2. Instead, Ohio State could be looking for this Dragon 5 once again. It's spawning in about a minute, and with super minions shoving down just about every lane except top, University of Illinois find themselves between a rock and a 5 dragon.
Yep. And I don't know if I missed the package coming back up or not.
Yes, he just had it, but he didn't use it for anything.
Come on, Fruit Seller. You're killing me. I know you want to get a pick. I know you want to be able to get them before the dragon, but using key cooldowns and abilities before a fight is sometimes a death sentence. You've seen it before where people will be like, oh, we killed Faker in the mid lane. It happened at Worlds. Then they go to fight Dragon. It's like, by the way, we don't have a couple flashes. We don't have Tibbers. And then they lose the fight. It's like, oh, well, Faker was worth 3 of your members at that point because you used that. So now he's basically using his Valkyrie, his package for nothing. And now it's a 4-1 split push here for Ohio State University. Here comes the engage.
Yeah, it looks to be something University of Illinois want as they pull the trigger on Nexavis. He's buying some time. Arun in the back still has his unstoppable force, but the inhibitor turret goes down. Minsu forced to back away from Strategical, who's getting some great damage across. No double knockup. Arun finds Minsu in the back. He's going to flash for it, but still not quite getting the kill. It's a bounce house for Arun. He goes down, and he has used his ultimate, though. There goes the recall. Twisted Fate is on the Nexus. They've got to stop these recall. He misses it over the wall. Minsu is going to complete it just at the last second. Can he save the Nexus, though? It's all alone. That's a lot of minions. He's looking for the knockup on the far side. Nexavis is trying to buy some time and deny some additional recalls. And there's the camera pan. You see it yourselves. Ohio State University, by the skin of their teeth, secure their playoff spot and deny University of Illinois.
And sometimes that's the threat of the 5th dragon. You don't have to have it to end the game, but the threat of it. Your opponents have to come to where that 5th dragon is. They have to be there when the spawn happens, and they have to contest it. They knew that on Ohio's side, and then they just said, you know what, TF, you're going to split push. You're going to threaten the inhibitor. Worst case scenario, you get that 3rd inhib. They have 1 dragon, but they have 6 super minions every wave shoving into their base. That's the worst case scenario if the enemy gets dragon, and then you end up having like this base that's just completely in shambles. So yeah. I definitely think that it's the right move. I think that forcing that is the best way to do it. And this is just early on. Like, that's a smite that allowed them to get that 5th dragon first, that 4th dragon, and then have the threat of it. Good knock up there, but then this is the fight where they're a little bit divided, and you can see Strategical off on the side. Zode doesn't get the full knock-up, and now Nexavis runs back into the heal, runs back in, and Zode just seemed to have a lot of tunnel vision this game. He's a frontliner, but he's still going after Nexavis pretty much every fight. Fruit Seller, this was just silly. Should not have been there. The wave was still being pushed up by his team, But I think at that point, you just bite the bullet and you walk through. It was when you had Trinity Force Power Spike and they wanted to push it for turrets. Zode, once again, misses his ultimate. Ulti comes in. Boom. There goes Minsu. And Snipe getting a lot of damage off here. He gets a lot of spears. He can't jump anymore. There you go. Gets the shutdown. And then Minsu's back in the fight. And then Snipe gets taken out.
It really speaks to how close these fights were, that it was mistakes like Callista getting picked off by a flash from Lucian or Corki getting caught out of position.
Yeah, and this is the final fight. This actually is rather silly because Malphite's in the back line threatening both of your AD carries, and instead he's just buying time. The call is buy time. The call is not kill them and win the game, it's buy time. So you see Malphite's just making sure that he's on the guy who wants to back. So he's going after Minsu, because if Minsu's able to start his back, if Minsu's able to actually complete it, then you have somebody who's stopping Twisted Fate just a little bit. I still don't think he'd be able to win that fight in a one-on-one. And then
yeah, remind me, Remy, ending the game there single-handedly in a stylish way to pick up that last win. I mean, this is Ohio State, again, in second place, now securing their playoff spot. University of Illinois, that's going to be pretty demoralizing.
Yeah, now University of Illinois, they cannot play for playoffs anymore. They just play for positioning and some bragging rights throughout the next game and as well as next week. But you will not be seeing them in the conference playoffs. You will be seeing Ohio State University, who want to take on Robert Morris University, who I believe have also ended up securing their playoff spot too. So we know 2 teams now in the North.
Yeah, well, we'll certainly find out more. We're going to get back with game number 2 in just a second. Don't go anywhere. The uLoL Campus Series is going to be right back. Thank you so much for coming back, guys. Welcome back. It's the uLoL Campus Series. Once again, I'm Dom Stater-Romer. This is Aiden Zyrene Moon. We just saw game number 1 between Ohio State University and University of Illinois, in which Ohio State was victorious. And in doing so, not only did they secure their own playoff spot, but they did eliminate University of Illinois for contention of another playoff spot.
Yeah, so top 4 out of those 8, and now University of Illinois, they can no longer make that top 4 spot. So they won't be in those conference playoffs. But of course, you can also see who else is going to be in the conference playoffs by doing the math and going to ulol.leagueoflegends.com. Of course, hopefully you can do the math. Hopefully you can figure it out, of course. If you can't, if team gets 0-2...
We'll have updated brackets in an hour. Once we finish this game, we'll have everything all sorted out for you guys.
I was going to talk about how if you tie, you only get 1 point.
Yes.
If you go 0-2, you get 0 points. And if you 2-0, you get 3 points. So the second game is worth twice as much if you won the first.
It is the best of 2 format. So there's a little bit of pressure on Ohio State University to take this game number 2 as well.
I like how it's called best of 2.
Because it's like the best of 3, and we call them best of 1s as well.
Yeah, but that's actually true because you get the best of 1. Right.
Of 1 game? Well, this is
best
the same.
Best
you get
of
the
2
best
is like who got the best of it. Well, you can tie.
Well, we got the
Nobody
best
really got
of
the
these
best
2.
Of it. And like best of 3s.
And in the best of 2, it is a tie because that is the best that we can get from these 2 teams. That's the best you're going to get from us. Thank you for watching. University of Illinois.
I like to call them 2-game sets.
On blue side now in this 2-game set. Knocking out Nidalee and Gangplank. Lulu Vane banned away for Ohio State University. No changes just yet in these bans. We'll see if it changes with these last ones as we have swapped sides.
Yeah, the Vane ban is actually quite curious over at Snipe. I mean, we saw his Callista, and he definitely looked like somebody who could move around, and if he was on the Vane that game, maybe he would have been able to kill the Malphite quicker and the Poppy and the tanks, and it would have been much harder to actually close that game out, despite it being a very, very difficult game for Ohio State to take the win on. But they did take it at the end of the day.
Yeah, Lissandra banned out once again, along with Fiora, so no changes in bans. But the sides have been swapped. We'll see what University of Illinois put the priority on. It's Malphite, taking it away from Arun.
Making sure he doesn't have that. I think at this point you might lock in the Alistar, you might lock in the Callista for yourself. Use that as a bottom lane combination, or at least take the Alistar and just break it up. Alistar Poppy, I think, would be a very good combo, and you can pretty much run anything at that point. Unless there's contested picks like a Corki, then you pretty much go with this. This is a great core.
Yeah, Alistair and Poppy now locked in for Ohio State. They're looking for their next 2 in just a bit. We'll see how University of Illinois pivot in this last match. They are going to be playing again next week, but as we've said, they have been unable to make a playoff spot. Now they're going to go with Snipe on Lucian, taking away from Strategical, and Ginormous Noob taking away Bacon Seeker's Janna.
Yeah, so Janna again into Alistar. We saw it last match. It was okay, but it's definitely something that you can outplay on, and you have the potential to do so. But now that you've shown Lucian, you can pick a couple of things into this. Of course, the Tristana is what we've been seeing out of Strategical when he can't get his hands on that Lucian. I also think picking up based on like tier list here, you can go with the Callista, Callista-Alistar combination and basically just swap lanes. And then also you could go Caitlyn. You could have Caitlyn Alistar. I think that's fun for sieging. I just personally like Caitlyn a lot, so.
Yeah, no AD carry being looked at just yet. We're likely going to see Strategical switch off of Nunu at the last second because with that Gnar locked in, that would be for Arun in the top lane to take against Zode, the standard lane bully Gnar. Now Rek'Sai is still available for Minsu. We'll see if he decides to go back to that, but it looks like it's going to be Gnar Ezreal locked in for OSU.
Yeah, Gnar's always had a favorable matchup up against the Malphite. Normal standard Black Cleaver builder, so you're able to shred him for the rest of your team. You deal magic damage, that's percent HP, so you force him to build mixed resistances and not just stack armor. So I like that pickup there. You're going to have to look for something AP in the mid lane here, possibly a Corki, and run double AD carry yourself on the side of Ohio State. I do like the Ezreal pick. I think it's got a lot of kiting and disengage potential. So Ohio State have a really good team fighting comp so far.
Yeah, Strategical did have a bit of difficulty during the laning phase. Snipe, 70 CS ahead, I think, by the end of the game?
Yeah, it was something like that. I didn't keep track of it at the end, but I remember there's one point where he had about 80 CS over him. So definitely a matchup that you want to camp. I think that's where Illinois will end up finding a large advantage if you're able to get in on that lane bottom and start these fights.
Yeah, it looks like we're seeing an all-in comp from University of Illinois. Ari locked in for the Fruit Cellar, and Nocturne locked in for Minsoon in the jungle.
So Nocturne, we don't see too much of. We did see some people play Nocturne recently. They go for that quick level 6. Sometimes they do the route where you clear all the camps and no buffs, and then you go back and then you clear with buffs, and then you go for your first gank at level 6. But if he power farms like that, that leaves his lanes rather vulnerable. They're pretty safe, though. If Poppy's the one who's in the jungle and ganking, then there's not a whole lot of threat. She is very scary, but I think that you can have your Malphite play safe. The Gnar can bully him around a bit, but he'll naturally get pushed in. And then this bottom lane, you just don't go too far forward, and that's kind of the rule of the first 4 minutes of the game, unless you're hyper aggro.
We'll see how that works. From the last game, Nexavis did play rather patient on that Poppy. Not a lot of ganks, but Morgana now locked in for Ohio State University. Likely going to be in the mid lane as he swaps over with Remind Me Remy, and that's Morgana into Ari.
Yeah, the Morgana into Ari, you have to land those bindings. You have to make them count. It will stop a little bit of the engage from the Malphite. You'll be able to keep somebody safe with the Black Shield. And also, you make it so that Monsoon doesn't knock somebody back. And I think that this is a pick that's a little curious, but I'm curious, a little weird, but I'm curious to see how it operates in the hands of Remind Me Remy.
We'll see how that works out. Of course, we want to know what you think. Who's going to take our last game? Will it be OSU 2-0 or University of Illinois splitting it 1-1? Tweet at uLoL with hashtag OSU win or hashtag UIwin. And we'll tally those up a little bit later as we get ready to get into this. And this is sort of a pride match now for University of Illinois. You know, they were in last place, but they showed they could take it to a 55-minute game against a second-place team and keep pace the entire way.
Yeah, and they expected to be in the top 4 of the conference, and also Ohio expected Illinois to be in the top 4 of the conference. When they ended up not being there, the individually skilled players fell by the wayside, and Ohio was a little stunned. And you can see in this game, or in the previous game, that it's actually quite warranted. They looked like a pretty good team in that one game. Small sample size, but I definitely look like their team play, like they said, wasn't that great, but they did seem like they could outplay a lot of people in lane.
They played well, they played very intelligently, they just weren't quite able to secure the win when it was all said and done. Now, defensive lines being adopted from everyone, as you can see. We've loaded onto the Rift, and everyone's just going to take it nice and slow. They don't want to give up any chances in this early game, too early on. Of course, the last game did go to 55 minutes, so we'll see if we get another long game like that. Bacon Seeker says, I've played Alistair as well.
A couple times, you know.
Just enough to get the mastery, and then that was it.
Yeah, all he's played is Alistar and Janna the entire tournament long. So he's been able to get his hands on it, and this looks like it'll be a minion block here from...
Aren't you supposed to do that on the turret? Looks like they are trying to.
Yep, they're going to do that, and then they're going to walk straight into the Krug pit and try to kill the Krugs.
Oh, I see. So you minion block and you get the Krug.
Yeah, it doesn't stop you from doing it. It spawns at 140, and the minion wave will pass by there. So it doesn't affect your ability to do that camp. I hope they go in there and do it. I don't think they did it right.
There they go. Now they're in.
That minion, there's no like lone minion in the front. So I actually don't think they did the minion blocking correctly. Oh well.
Yeah,
we will see.
Minions are going to be on their side. We'll certainly see as Binding finds Fruit Cellar. Remy is going to still end up being procced by the Thunderlords from an auto attack of Fruit Cellar. And both of the duos head down to the bottom. Now, that's actually a full Krug clear this time around from Snipe and Ginormous Doom. A little different from Strategical and Bacon Seeker.
Yeah, and man, Remind Me Remy is actually finding all of these bindings. Bacon Seeker, though? Whoa, Ginormous Doom, you're really far forward.
He's really low health. Dropped down to almost 100 as he's forced to start chugging potions. There's level 2. Bacon Seeker's waiting to pull the trigger.
Yes, he is. He's just trying to get bush dominance, make sure that he's able to find a headbutt pulverize, zone them from the wave, possibly lose some CS here on Snipe's side. Oh, he's looking for it.
Oh, he has found Snipe. Good damage, chunks him down to half, but still has Doran's Blade and a potion to heal it up in this lane. It's still very early on in the level 2 trade. So far, Snipe is keeping pace. Strategical looking to change things up after last game when he did suffer quite a bit during that laning phase.
Yeah, when you have the Janna, you're pretty much on the back foot. The Alistar is going to be able to execute some minions, get you that level 2 really quickly, and then heal up, and you guys just keep going for trades. So sustain beating that initial trading power of the Janna. Sometimes Jannas, though, that are very aggressive and have AD and AP runes, they just shield themselves, walk up and auto attack, and they're pretty much as powerful as the AD carry. And they become a big force to be reckoned with, but we're not seeing that here. We're seeing Ginormous Noob play pretty far back in this lane, not breaking that invisible line between the AD carry and support, but still making it so that he's not contributing too much damage.
Meanwhile, harass continuing in the top lane. You just saw Arun trying to chunk Zod away, healing up as best he can, but some good harass coming out from Zod as he's burning all of his early mana. And another binding from Remind Me Remy finds Fruit Seller. He does have the Thunderlords for additional burn.
Yeah, and Zod in that top lane, I'm actually surprised he didn't take Corrupting Potion, but he is going to take a lot of auto attacks from the Gnar, so I understand the Doran Shield. But Ginormous Noob, they also have Poppy coming from the side.
Nexavis finds the flash stun. Ginormous Noob goes down. First blood strategical.
Yep, Nexavis comes from the side. And I mean, last game, you camped for the Alistar lane when you were Illinois, and now Ohio State's going to camp this lane and try to kill that Janna over and over again.
Yeah, seems like we're seeing something similar out of Ohio State University. If it ain't fixed, don't broke it, to quote the immortal Riv.
He's not IMT Riv.
No, that's Immortals Riv. I'm referring to the title, The Immortal. Binding is going to miss, though, onto Fruit Seller, as it looks like Minsu is doing that hard farm route you talked about. So far, he's cleared every single camp in his jungle, hasn't looked at the lanes just yet. Remy just going for a little bit more melee range, binding lands, even more damage. Ignite getting burned as well. Oh man, he just needed one auto attack.
Oh man, it's so close there. Put the pressure onto Fruit Seller. He had to use his charm just point blank while there was still a black shield. Looking at the junglers though, Nexavis trying to clear this out. Ward first, scuttle later. Priorities.
Is the scuttle going to reset? Oh, it does. Oh, that's a little unfortunate. Nexavis wasting a little bit of time.
Yeah, the reason that Minsu can't walk up and contest it at all is because his mid laner's back, and Remind Me Remy would basically just show up, and priority top lane in mid means you can't even go near that Scuttle Crab.
Ohio State, minor advantage in the early game. It looks like Snipe is once again up in CS despite giving up that first death. Recall is going to get strategical his tier, so we're not going to be expecting a lot of action in that bottom lane unless we see another sneaky gank from Nexavis. He did burn his flash to get it happening, and Snipe is going to take a little bit of damage from strategical, answers it back. It's difficult to trade against that
Alistar?
Yeah.
The heal? Yes. It's going to be
because he is
very
just going to
difficult.
heal it back up.
Oh, yeah, no problem. He sits around. There's all of these minions that are going to be dying around him, so more and more HP. I assume he's Wind Speakers. I haven't seen it, but Wind Speakers also works on your Targons, your Relic Shield stack. I would be surprised if he didn't take it. All Alistars are pretty much doing it. Oh, Nocturne, though, level 5 in the bot.
And he's going to find Flash over the wall from Bacon Seeker as he doesn't take any chances and gets out of there. Arun should take some punishment here from the damage. Ooh, hold on to it just a little too long.
Yeah, that would have actually been a kill there. If he had slammed him into the wall, it would have been that extra damage, and then he would have changed into Mini-Gnar while he was stunned and would have gotten the fadeaway auto attacks, possibly picking him up and killing him there.
A little bit of mistiming from Arun as he's trying to bully out in that lane. Strategical looks to clear out the pink ward. Doesn't quite. It has 1 health left, but...
The thing is, they want to clear that pink so badly so that they can start getting ganks bottom. But there's another pink in the inventory for Ginormous Noob, so as soon as they do that, he's just going to replace it.
Yeah, double pink buy out of Ginormous Noob. Doesn't take any chances. Nexavis immediately spotted out by a ward in the Razorbeak pit. His Razor Sharp Sense buff gets denied. He's going to look for a gank towards the mid lane, but might have been spotted out by the pink. No, the binding. Oh, hits the minion. Nexavis with the quick snapback. Doesn't quite find Fruit Seller.
No W cast either. You can interrupt the Spirit Rush from Ahri and stop it. Only 1 though. He'll get the next one off. Minsu though takes the blue buff, I believe, and is level 6 now. So he's able to get these Nocturne ganks off, able to deal a decent amount of damage and see if he can get in onto these lanes. Really only Alistar doesn't have flash now, and he's turning the corner on 6 soon. Oh, it's so much damage.
Luckily, though, as we have mentioned before, he is Alistair, so he should be able to heal up in just a little bit, as he's also got some tasty biscuits to bring him back up to full health. 8 minutes in. So far, the lanes seem to be pretty safe and standard, despite some bullying out of Arun and Remind Me. They're not that far ahead. Minor CS lead for Remy. Slightly bigger for Arun as he's continuing to bully this out. But in the bottom, again, Snipe is taking an advantage over Strategical.
Snipe just seems to be a really good laner and a big strong point here for the University of Illinois. Of course, though, when you talk to them, they talk about how Ginormous Noob is one of the shot callers, and then they have their jungler, Minsu, as the best member on the team, so giving him farm is good, but I definitely think you camp this bottom lane. I think that the two shot callers, the jungler and the support, you're naturally going to have that jungler come to your lane. I think that Minsu should be looking to get Snipe ahead, because he just seems to be such a good player. He seems to be the shining light on this team in Illinois.
We'll see if anything changes as Minsu now level 7 as he's roaming and continuing to farm. We haven't seen him affect a single lane yet.
Yeah.
And Nexavis has gotten off 3 ganks so far and is still keeping up in overall CS. So
yeah, he's doing a good job of taking Scuttle Crabs as well. Of course, Minsu's near this bottom side of the map. Strategical has enough mana to get away. It would be rather difficult. 2 pink wards in this bottom lane area, and they actually see Poppy coming around from the side.
yeah, they spot Nexavis with those pink wards. Don't quite see Minsu, but they've got to know that something is up. Bacon Seeker pulls the trigger onto Snipe. Here comes Minsu. He's on his way back. There goes the Nocturne ult. He finds Bacon Seeker. Fear is going to buy some time, but he's still got the Unbreakable Will. Teleports just a little bit too late, and Bacon Seeker goes down. Nexavis goes for the flash. Monsoon splits them up. Arun finds Minsu against the wall and is able to bring him down. There goes the flash. Knockup buys more time. Are they going to try diving this for Ginormous Noob? There's a snapback. Can they get it? They can indeed. That's going to be 2 kills for Ohio State.
And that's the TP out of the top laner there. Arun showing up right in time, but that was so well played by Ginormous Noob. I don't think he could have played that better from a Janna standpoint. I think that the Q was good, the R was good. It just kind of sucks when you're in that scenario. And
no matter how perfect you play.
Yeah, you're just like, well, I guess because we were in that scenario in the first place, it was the wrong play. And then I played perfect from there, but it's still not good enough.
It's sort of a checkmate situation where no matter what you can do, there's just no way out. Fruit Seller takes some big damage here. Remind Me Remy flashes. Oh, man. Fruit Seller has to burn his own flash to break the tether.
Wow. The Ignite there used by Remind Me Remy. And the flash to try and follow. It was pretty clever there. Pretty clever. He had boot advantage, too, so he was just trying to keep up. Zote, though, in the top lane, big reason that fight did not go the way of Illinois was the fact that his TP was down. He had to use it previously to get back to lane because Gnar was bullying him around. But now he has some room to breathe. He has a little bit of a level advantage. He'll be getting level 10 soon.
Binding. This is Ginormous Noob. Apparently he's not that ginormous. That's a misnomer. As the supports get into a bit of ward wars. It's a little moral victory when you clear the ward. Yes, I got it. Oh, he's got another one. No!
Yeah, sometimes it's... You know the other guy's frustrated, though. You sit there and you're just like... He put down like 3 wards and I cleared all 3 of them. Yeah, it's a win for me.
Remind Me Remy doesn't have any flash, though. Spell Shield will block the fear from Minsu.
Yeah, the tether there doesn't matter. And top lane just getting pushed out here. Arun is being lane dominant again, despite the advantage that Snipe has in that bot lane. Those assists and that kill onto Strategical even it out with that 100% kill participation. Once again, more action in the bot lane, but I think this time Ohio are actually focusing the bot lane first, and then Illinois is just trying to execute the same pattern they had last game. So it's a little predictable here.
Not seeing a lot of change this game so far as Nexavis and Strategical looking to get further ahead. A little bit of damage is going to find Remind Me Remy. Taking a look at the junglers, they're both on the bottom side of the map. Paranoia is back up for Minsu.
Yeah, that top lane turret actually goes down, though. That's the big thing here is that top lane turret. Zode's just been pushed out multiple times. He actually, I think a lot of this is because he stayed on that top turret and was greedy for damage. So he had a bad back timer, didn't get to back, and then he just got pushed out of lane by Arun, who then already had minion wave shoved up. So he got full damage on it. And Zode said, I learned my lesson. I'm not going to TP back to lane because they're going to need me bottom. So he sacrificed the turret and gold to the enemy team so that he'll have his TP for the next play.
Speaking of play, they could find Nexavis in the jungle, going just a little bit too deep. He dashes forward. Charm doesn't quite pull him out of it. He's able to get out despite the collapse of 4 members of University of Illinois.
Yeah, you're pretty slippery when you're Poppy. It's a little deceptive. Oh.
Damage
back. Oh, ultimate from Strategical out.
Culling going to be answered, finds the minion wave, and clears it out without too much contest. Here comes Nexavis once again. Let's see if there's going to be a flash knock up Nexavis. Ooh, doesn't quite make it.
Yeah, early E there from Snipe. That's how you do it when the Steadfast Presence is a threat to you. But no flash, of course, from Nexavis, so not able to find it. Top lane, though, now Black Cleaver complete against Sunfire Cape. I think one of these wins over the other.
Oh, really?
Yes.
One of these items is better than the other. You heard it here first, everyone.
I think one of these actually counters the other. I could be wrong. Sunfire Cape, though, is actually really strong with the bonus 50% damage to minions and monsters now. Really good buy on pretty much every tank. Sometimes you even buy it in the jungle after getting Warrior and stuff.
Just for faster clear.
Yeah, it's insane. I love it. I think it makes those top lane tanks even better at split pushing.
Blue buff now being handed over to Fruit Seller as he's trying to keep pace with Remind Me Remy, who just completed a recall and picked up that pretty early Rod of Ages to continue scaling on that Morgana as the Ward Wars continue, this time in the top lane. Episode 2 of Ward Wars.
No, Ward War 2.
You got me. Oh, man. Let's hope there's no Ward War 3.
And I was just thinking of like name puns and stuff. It could be Gnarls Barkley if you're playing Gnarls. Maybe you could dunk someone. Anyway, Fruit Seller.
Ooh, taking some damage. Nexavis continuing to chase. Zones him away once again.
He should have been a man. He should have charged up the ulti and tried to execute him with it. You should have thrown the ulti. You should have just thrown it. No.
Not quite able to get the kill, but they should be able to take this tier 1 turret.
Yeah, they're going to take some damage from this, though, and you have to watch out for Minsu.
Gesundheit.
Yeah. Minwu's from something else.
Yeah, speaking of which, he has his Paranoia available. Might try to save the turret, but the tier 1 looks to go down. No support in the bottom.
TP, top lane. That's going to come out here, and Zode is actually in danger of dying here.
A lot of damage. Let's see if Arun is able to get the ult this time. No, he doesn't. He doesn't take any chances with it. Snipe gets some bottom damage on the bottom tier 1 in answer.
So Zode can back. Zode can make a TP play and pretty much even up the game if they get another turret off of it. So you have to be able to get 1 turret, possibly 2, but a good team fight will definitely put you in that lead. In 30 seconds on this dragon, I say you hold on to it. I say you look for a play. I think you tell your team to force it. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah, speaking of forcing it, they found Ginormous Noob. Oh, he keeps himself alive. He flashes over the wall. Red buff
Where's the
might
TP?
be able to get him after the shield. There's the TP from Zode Charm. He's going to find Bacon Seeker. They're continuing to look for... Oh, Nexavis gets caught. He turns it around, gets the kill when it's all said and done, but he's going to go down. Finally drops to Snipe, but Bacon Seeker drops to Zode on the far side. 1 for 2, favor of University of Illinois.
Yeah, that numbers advantage came in handy there when they had the TP play to make. And now Arun, of course, you can see he's just back in base. He's unable to contribute to it at all. Now, able to take this dragon, second dragon, over to Illinois.
And he's heading over as quickly as possible, but not going to be able to make it in time as it's getting chunked out very quickly. Minsu has doesn't actually have his smite, but he's still able to get it.
Yep. Good play there as well from Nexavis. Heads up on the making sure he can kill Ginormous Noob.
Yeah.
The interrupt on his ultimate. And Zode, no!
Oh, man, he's got flash. He's got flash. Oh, remind me, Remy. Flashes for a kill of his own. That was a long flash.
Yeah, that's a pretty thick wall. You can flash it. It's fine. Oh, Arun, though.
I feel like
he's got movement speed.
Arun does have it. Lots of damage comes across. Charm pulls him in. Is he going to go for the engage? 1v2. Doesn't have any vision. Tosses the
flash ulti.
Brick.
Ooh.
Doesn't pull the trigger.
Oh, so close, man.
Yeah.
But I think Zode, I have no idea why he's there. I think you back with the team. And again, Illinois, they're playing like it's solo queue sometimes. And this is what happens in solo queue. This is what happens when you play against a team that's a little bit more coordinated than you, is you start seeing these types of advantages of 3.7K at 17 minutes, and the game starts getting out of hand.
Yeah, minor punishments for University of Illinois. Now, as you mentioned, Ohio State just a little bit ahead, up to 4,000 gold now. As they're getting closer and closer, they do still have a mild lead on Snipe. Even in kills, about 10 CS ahead. They need to continue trying to snowball it. However, bottom tier 1 is being pressured by Strategical. He's even baiting it with turret damage, but Ginormous Noob walks into a trap.
Oh, Bacon Seeker was trying to get over the wall too. He's like, wait, my headbutt doesn't go that far.
Me too, come with me.
He was so close. You could see him going back and forth like, why isn't this working? Oh, and of course, once you push the person out of range and into the wall, the other person can't follow. You have to do it at exactly the same time.
And they both knock them back.
Even then, I think Alistar may have just popped her over the wall if he had done that. Like Poppy would have turned her around. Poppy would have stunned him into the wall, and then I think Alistar would have made him fly over the dragon pit. But
they're looking for Remind Me Remy. He gets a lot of damage onto him and goes down Minsu.
The desperately needed kill there, and Minsu picks that up. You can see he's going for a very offensive build. So he has the Warriors. I assume it's going to be a Youmuu's Ghostblade next to dive onto these squishy champions, the Morgana, who has the Rod of Ages, but he'll eventually get his Zonias. It'll take a little bit, but the armor penetration is going to be so good against the squad.
Rune continuing to try to keep that top tier 1. Looks like it might go down as University of Illinois collapse onto Nexavis.
Oh,
he's taking a lot of damage. He goes down to Zode. 5 members in the top lane. The tier 1 is dropped. Arun, oh, he's going to have to bounce out of this one, but he doesn't quite have it.
And they're just grouping up as 5 right now on the side of Illinois. TP almost available for Arun. Zode, you have to make a play during that kind of gap where it's like, I think about 60 seconds where Arun's going to have his TP and Zode is not going to have it. You're losing some bot lane turret damage. Ahri's going to have to go down there and answer it. But the Rift Herald here is a little bit risky.
Certainly is. Going to despawn in a few seconds as well. So they secure it. Looks like they're going to give it over to Minsu. And again, this is the team's perception of who is the strongest player on their team, Minsu.
Yeah, and I think that having the Nocturne point and click ulti for the backline with that buff and the extra damage is going to be big. I do like the Rift Herald pickup there. University of Illinois, only 1,000 gold back now when we said 3.7 previously. So they're playing their hearts out. They're actually a rather good squad. Being 8th place is rather deceptive for them, and it's quite surprising that they haven't picked up more wins. The fact they only have 2 out of 10, 2 out of 11 games now.
Quite unfortunate for University of Illinois. Again, these wins late are for morale more than anything else because they are unable to make playoffs anymore, but they're still giving it their all in this match. 20.5 minutes in, they're only down by about 1,200 gold. Even in kills, down a turret though. And Dragon's going to be up in 2 minutes now. And yeah, that looks like it's going to be the Ghostblade out of Minsu, Serrated Dirk, and Caulfield's Hammer.
And there's that pesky pink ward in the back of red. Not cleared. You can see Ohio State's red ward right there.
It's been there for quite a while.
It has been, and it's going to stay there for quite a while. I think the only time he's going to notice is if he has Raptor buff. But now, University of Illinois, they're going to try to even up the tower count, and they're just grouping as 5 because they have the Malphite. They have the way to start these fights. Arun has TP. He's just going for the split push. It's a split push Gnar at this point. He has Hex Drinker. No real durability for this fight in terms of armor if he shows up.
Ooh, Charm.
He's charging his Gnar bar, though.
He is indeed. Does have that teleport available. Could drop onto the ward. But he's continuing to look for the tier 2. The 5-man group of University of Illinois is unsuccessful in breaking it. The wave clear is just so strong for Ohio State. There's the teleport answer from Zode. They see that now.
You have to walk away.
Oh, and Bacon Seeker actually cancels it, drops his ultimate. He might give his life so that the rest of his team can go in, but the 5 members of University of Illinois are kiting forward. Bacon Seeker goes down to Snipe. They're able to get another kill onto Strategical. The teleport is used and canceled by Arun. They're going to be a tier 2 trade for a tier 2 trade.
Oh, Minsu!
Oh, Minsu's still alive for now. Spell Shield keeps him alive, plus the Monsoon from Ginormous Noob. They're continuing to buy time. There's the recall completed out of Arun. He's finally going to group up with the rest of his team.
I think you have the inside track here, too, so pushing that wave up, no problem. Trying to back now. And that's a trade of turrets, but you ended up getting more kills on the side of Illinois, and you got both TPs. Of course, Gnars will be up a little bit sooner.
Yeah, Arun now heading towards the Dragon. 5-man recall out of University of Illinois puts them out of position temporarily. They've got vision around the pit, and they're all racing forward. Paranoia is still on half cooldown. And here comes Nexavis. He knows it as well. This could be another opportunity ripe for a fight.
This is actually interesting because you're seeing where the gold is on these players. You're seeing the Youmuu's Ghostblade from Minsu. You're seeing the Luden's Echo here with all those assists onto the Fruit Seller. And then this Lucian is doing really well. 34 CS up. He has multiple kills. But the Trinity Force onto Nexavis is a little questionable. I think that's a really bold item to take, but we'll see what happens here in the Gnar.
Two-man stun finds Minsu and Fruit Seller. He goes down, and they're going to continue chasing forward. That's 2 members dead. Ginormous Noob gets dropped as well. Dragon was secured on top of it. 4 members of University of Illinois go down to Ohio State.
And that's a triple kill there for the top laner, Arun, and they're going to look straight at Baron. They were talking about how their team fighting was super good, and Illinois just walked straight into that. Flash over the wall, Gnar ulti into the wall. I don't think they had vision of where he was fighting the dragon. And he's just building up his bar, waiting for that opportunity, and it took Illinois by surprise. And now Ohio jump out to a gigantic lead. I'm going to say about 3,000 here, back to where they were before. Yeah. Not gigantic.
Pretty solid lead for Ohio State University, but they now have the forward momentum, getting those kills, completing some big items. There's the Last Whisper on top of the Muramana. It's just looking more and more dangerous for University of Illinois. They made a couple of good plays, but Ohio State punished them once again.
And you saw for the last 13, 15 minutes that Illinois were just clawing back into the game. They were winning skirmishes, they were winning some fights, they're grouping up as 5, and then it just took that one fight to destroy their lead. They had gotten back, they were about 200 gold up, they were winning that fight bot, no TPs on either top laner, and then Arun still comes up big in that Dragon Pit. So Ohio, with this Baron buff, it's hard to clear out these minion waves. They're going to get a decent amount of damage. Also, if a binding ever lands, but Minsu's looking for an ultimate. He didn't get to use it last time. So Zode, flash ulti, and you also have ultimate from Minsu.
Yeah, Zode is on the side,
Wait for
gets
the
some
Gnar bar.
wards, trying to zone away that Malphite. Looking for the flank. No Vision has spotted it out yet. Here come the minions. Strategical drops the true shot.
So you wait for the Gnar bar to go off, and then you engage. Here he comes around the corner. He's looking for an engage.
Oh, he gets knocked away from the side. There's the paranoia. They found Strategical. He's destroyed before anyone can respond. Monsoon splits them up. Arun, it looks like he's trying to get a kill single-handedly on the side. Can he quite find it? He does indeed. Another double kill, and Nexavis rejoins the fight. It's 3 versus 4 right now. Favor of Ohio State. They're at low health, and they back off.
Oh, it was so close as well. And Arun, he gets back. He has TP. 1 for 3, and you're the ones who engaged it. So Illinois, they picked the fight. It looked like it was going to go well for them at the start because they got Strategical off the map. But then the follow-up, just the stats are now coming through, and you saw the damage that Arun is able to do. Now that he's 6-0 and 4, all of this gold on him, he's just becoming a force to be reckoned with.
This Gnar is absolutely huge. Even getting that wave in the top lane, bringing him to a 60, now 70 CS lead over poor Zode. Things are looking very dangerous. And sure, they can shut down Strategical. We saw them dive him before, but Strategical is probably the least of your worries at this point.
Yeah, Zode has had back-to-back not that great games. They camped him the first time with the Twisted Fate mid, and then at this game, Arun just got a counter-pick matchup, and he was perfectly fine. Snipe, though, I don't think he can duel this guy because the Trinity Force is super strong, and Swifties...
Ooh, true shot finds Ginormous Noob. He's continuing to chase, looks for the execute, takes a full culling, though. Finally, he's going to get out. Fruit Seller's looking for the charm as well. They could try to collapse onto this. Bacon Seeker has found Zode, split from the rest of his team.
Arun is so scary. He's got double buffs.
Oh my gosh, he's finding Zode. Zode might actually just have to trade his life so the rest of his team can continue fighting. There's the unstoppable force.
That's okay. It's unbreakable will and unstoppable force. They're both in this game.
In the same game, side by side. And the siege is now going to begin. Now that engage has been pulled away from Zode, nobody died. It's going to be so hard to stop the siege of Ohio State.
Yeah, the fact that they're that far ahead as well, you could just see the level difference. 3 levels in the top lane, 1 level in the mid, and here they go. Nexus, ooh, interrupted.
Gets into the front. There's the snapcast. Knockup is going to miss. True Shot finds the minion wave. Remember, they want the turret, though.
What's Minsu looking for? Minsu's just waiting. They're just disengaging, and Minsu's lurking. He's just lurking on Nocturne.
Yeah, not quite contributing to the fight just yet. Here comes the next minion wave as they're pushing forward onto the inhibitor. They see Minsu on the side. They're going to get some damage onto the turret, and there's no answer just yet. Chunk down to half. They might be able to break it down. They do indeed. Minsu still not joining up with the rest of his team. Zode is caught. He's dropped low. The shield tries to keep him alive. Nexavis at so low health. Minsu still waiting. There he goes. Gets the execution. Looks to lock them in from the far side. Arun has Mega Gnar. He's got to kite it out. Bacon Seeker. There he goes. The stun finds Knife. The stun is going to follow up as well. Strategical can't quite lock him down, and Fruit Seller tries to bring down this tanky front line. Again, that Nocturne is kiting from the far side. Arun finally going to be caught. Dodges the true damage. Is he still alive? This Gnar is absolutely huge.
Oh,
There it
the ult came
goes.
back
The
up.
ult came all the way back up. He finally goes down, one hit away, and University of Illinois finally find the fight they're looking for.
And Minsu's been running this entire time, keeping Remind Me Remy occupied. And you can see this Morgana has near full HP and half mana, so he's been throwing out bindings, and he hasn't been helping his team out for disengage. Oh, there's the trickle, and they end up picking up so much off of that. But it still may not be enough. They get decent shutdowns, but you can see the gold difference is still 5,000 gold.
Yeah, a huge split for Ohio State University. Can't quite make up their minds. Minsu finally making the play that his team needed. But is it too late? That's a bear inhibitor in the bottom lane. If Ohio State get another opportunity, that's super minions, and it's so hard to come back from that.
It's the opposite side of the Baron as well, so it's the ideal turret to have down. Make sure that you have that split push advantage. 2 levels now for Arun. That's all it is. It was 3 before. He'll hit 16, of course, before Zod will hit 14, I believe. I do think right now you put Arun in the split push, you go to get Dragon, you guys divide, set up for Baron, Arun continues to split push with the TP, and the fact that his build is just made for killing Zod.
Yeah, this is Dragon number 3 being taken by Ohio State. Minsu has his paranoia, gets a ward over the wall. It's secured, and he goes in. That's not where he wants to be. Pinned against the wall, he goes down to strategical, and Fruit Seller gets knocked away. Says, thanks for the save, guys.
Yeah, Minsu jumps in, impatient, going for the steal. I mean, it's Dragon 3.
Yeah.
You don't really need to go in and get that.
Looks like Ohio State are going to head back towards the bottom lane. They've got Arun still in the mid lane, trying to get that big wave onto the bear inhibitor. Remember, it's 30 seconds before Minsu gets back up. And there's Nexavis.
Using the Q to get the Trinity Force hits.
Sheen for extra damage. Zod chunked out again by Arun.
Just takes so much damage. Malphites are usually extraordinarily tanky, and you're just frustrated hitting him. But he has that Black Cleaver, and he's just like, you're paper. You're still paper.
Yeah, here comes the minion wave. It's 2 seconds. Minsu has just spawned. They escort it in, but they can't quite take down that inhibitor.
All right, and 20 seconds on this Baron, and there's no setup here from either team. No team has vision of Baron, but if you go to Baron and you're Illinois, you're going to lose your bot inhib. Minsu, though?
They're waiting, looking for a pick.
Oh,
They
he might get
found
caught here.
Minsu. He doesn't have his paranoia available. A binding is going to find Zod. Who's the target they need to look for? Spell Shield and Unbreakable Will on Bacon Seeker. Woo. And they knock Zod out of the fight.
That was the ultimate from Poppy and the ultimate from Alistar. So now, if you're Illinois, you want to go to Baron, and you want to fight Baron now. Like right now.
They've got about a 60-second window to make advantage of this. We'll see if Ohio State can respond. They're getting some recalls in for some additional items. Jorum's Fist picked up for Arun, on top of some more magic resist for Nexavis.
Ooh, Banner of Command for Ginormous Noob, so he's going to be able to just have a minion wave auto shove by itself. I do think that you need to go to Baron. You need to set up and possibly start it, because Bacon Seeker's much less durable in the state that he's currently in without his ultimate up, but I don't think they're going to actually take advantage of that. I think they're just shoving out waves, and they're trying to get control of the area, but that's going to give time for this ultimate to come back up.
And not quite able to take advantage of that small window. Still about maybe another 50, 45 seconds for that Keeper's Verdict to come back up, but Bacon Seeker does have his Unbreakable Will, which means that Engage is available. Wards now seem to be the name of the game. It's Ward War 3.
You still didn't even get control of the area, so Ward War 3 goes in favor of Ohio State. And Illinois have to cede all of that territory. They do get the Scuttle, though, so it's a Scuttle rebuttal.
Next to this, takes
looking
some damage.
for
Minsu
Remy.
has found Remy. He's got the Spell Shield on the far side, drops it on a Fruit Seller. He gets away as Nexavis looks to buy some time. Minsu's forced to flash over the wall. Zod gets a good knockup. Nexavis is going to go down to the snipe on the far side. And Bacon Seeker, he's got the Unbreakable Will, but he split from his team. Arun has finally joined into the battle. He's looking for just a little bit more. There's the flash knockup, but it's a double kill. Snipe is still alive. Monsoon buys some time, looking for some more damage. Fruit Seller
Snipe's
gets tossed
going
back.
crazy.
He goes down. Arun trying to finish this off as best he can. True Shot Barrage is going to miss out on the binding from Remind Me. Can he find Ginormous Noob? No, I don't think he can. The bot out of the minions! He doesn't quite make it in time. It was right there. And University of Illinois escape with their lives.
Oh, man. Snipe has been playing this series so well. The CS advantage that he's been able to get for himself in these lanes, the fact that he hasn't died this game and it's just been so hectic, and that fight was all him. He ended up flashing. He ended up dodging. He had really, really good relentless pursuits in that. The direction he was choosing was pretty much the optimal direction. I saw him moving away from where Gnar was. I saw him re-engaging and dodging Alistar just in the blink of an eye. So he had a good reaction to that. And Snipe is somebody that, they were saying that Minsu's their best player. I think that Snipe is making a case for himself.
Yeah. 5-0-4, 70 CS going on 80 now as we get later into this match ahead. There's a teleport from Arun as he's going to look to catch Ginormous Noob. Aw, poor guy.
Living up to his name.
Yeah.
Sometimes you clear vision by yourself. And
without anything else. Snipe actually gets spotted on the bottom side, clearing out some wards of their own. That pulls the trigger for Ohio State. They look for this Baron to try to end the game. Here comes the rest of University of Illinois. Paranoia Smite is available for Minsu. Can he time it out properly?
They don't have vision of it, though.
He does have his Unstoppable Force. In addition, Bacon Seeker, can he keep it alive? There goes the culling.
Baron HP is about 2,000.
Yeah, remind me, Remy just melees into Snipe to try to bully him away. There it goes. It's down to 700. Baron is secured by Ohio State University. Minsu need to win this fight. He's on Strategical, who doesn't make it over the wall, but it doesn't matter. Strategical still kills him. Arun turns on to Zode in the meanwhile. He's pinned against the wall. Is going to drop to Strategical. Remy and Bacon Seeker look for more. The binding misses, and there's the late Spirit Rush from Fruit Seller.
Oh, Ginormous Noob being down was just so big there. They needed to disengage. You needed to be able to interrupt and actually cause some disruption here. But that's going to be Ohio with the Baron shoving down the mid lane. They'll be getting at least 2 inhibitors here, mid-turret, mid-inhib, and bot-inhib if they play this correctly.
Yeah, next to this is charging forward. He's found Fruit Seller. He flashes over the wall, but there's the Snapcast knockup. Fruit Seller has nowhere to go. He goes down. Nexus does trade his life in answer, and Strategical has got to play this very carefully. Decides he doesn't want any piece of it and hops the wall.
Yeah, quite strategical of him. Takes down the mid-turret. Takes down the mid inhib, and you should move to the bot inhib, but there are 2 members coming up here.
Yeah, Malphite and Nocturne are going to be there in a few seconds. It's going to be 4 versus 4 as they look for it. Here comes Minsu, tosses out just a little bit. There's another banner of command minion coming out of Ginormous Noob, and Arun, he's going to take the long way out.
Yeah, because of the fact that Nexus died and dove, it definitely put a damper, or it hindered them from taking that second inhibitor. Little over aggressive there. Dragon does come up right now, though. Inside track for Illinois. There is home guard, though, so Ohio will be able to speed back and not miss out on too much. But if they start it up right now, Lucian comes over the wall, they'll be able to take this before there's an answer.
Yeah, this is Dragon 2 for University of Illinois. More importantly, denying any further stacks from Ohio University.
See, Minsu, you didn't have to ulti and kill yourself for that one. Simple.
It's a little bit more strategical play.
Just a little bit.
Okay, so they've still got Baron buff for another minute or so. Ohio State did take down that middle inhibitor, and now they've got the inside track. Looks like they're going to be heading towards the bottom. Arun doesn't have teleport, so as 5, they're grouping towards the bottom. Though Strategical is going to be catching this wave in the mid just to sort of counter-shove the pressure of the University of Illinois.
Yeah, and that 8,000 gold is causing a lot of pressure from Ohio State. So Illinois just trying to answer that. And you can see Snipe is playing his heart out this game. 6-0-4. He's almost Flame Horizon Strategical. Top lane, same story. Arun, the delta between Arun and Zode though is much bigger than the other delta, but we'll see.
Ginormous Noob is locked down. There's the heal. Snapcast ultimate. He leads it around. Monsoon puts them on the side. Not quite able to find it. Flash, and Nexus gets the solo kill with a little help from his friends. Bacon Seeker forced to try to get into the front line. There's the Unbreakable Will. Binding will catch Zode, but they're looking for this inhibitor. It's going to go down, and there's nothing University of Illinois can do. Ohio State might be looking to end this as they escort the minion wave forward, getting just a bit of damage.
Yeah, make sure that you can get both. They may actually tank the next turret and just get that last in here, but Nexus.
Yeah, Nexus is caught. He's chunked out a huge knockup. He's going to separate it for now. There goes the execution. Arun is the guy who gets credit for the kill. He's continuing to chase forward, but that's 2 members dead. Most importantly, they're disengaged. Can they manage to stay alive? It doesn't quite look like it. Arun on a killing spree once again. 37 minutes in, Ohio State University are on the Nexus, shredding through the turrets, looking to end the game. Snipe the sole survivor.
Oh, he went down!
He goes down at the very end. That vaunted KDA is going to drop.
Oh, man. 7-5-1 for him, but of course, that's still no victory there for Illinois. Ohio State, they go 2-0 today, and they secured their spot in playoffs already. They're just jockeying for positioning and seeing if they can get that number 1 spot, number 2 spot, not have to go up against RMU in the first round. Make sure that they can advance further.
They certainly are. And Ohio State, they did play against RMU in the past and got 0-2'd by them. But after this 2-0, after these very long and drawn-out games, they're really making a case for we can play at the top level. We can play with the best of them.
Yeah, I definitely think that there were a lot of hiccups, though, for Ohio State. Like, right here, that's a fight where Snipe is getting the better of them. I think that if you go up against a good bottom laner, like Snipe, or like the bottom lane that they have on RMU and UBC, that this is going to be an even bigger problem. The Dragon gets taken here, and then Zode is like, okay, which way do I go? And then that's where he got caught, going back to the left. Zode, again, in the front line here, but this is the Gnar ulti! There they go. Okay, so he was right in front of him. Zode was chasing, and he just turns around and slams them all into the wall. And this was the turnaround. This is how Ohio State ended up securing a lead for themselves. It was getting back to even at that point, and then they just closed out from there. This was a good fight, though, for Illinois, and shows a lot of weaknesses from Ohio. It's just back and forth, back and forth. Snipe not thrown into his team, not thrown into where Strategical is for the finisher, but thrown against the wall, so it became harder for the Ezreal to actually follow up damage. And then he just gets caught. Charm lands, Hex, Drinker goes off, and in the bottom side, Morgana is just kiting and kiting. And they were waiting for this to happen. They were waiting for that Malphite ultimate. And when you're buying time like that, they definitely played that correctly. It seemed like the communication of Illinois was on point for that fight. Strategical got picked for this one, and then it became a Baron, and Strategical you can still see is down here, and this just became one of the game-winning fights. There's been so many game-winning fights, but this is the one where you try to dive in, you see the Baron at about 760 HP when he does, and he's still not able to get it. And Snipe is just trying desperately. Right there, 788, so close.
It's so desperate for University of Illinois to try making a play, but the fact that Illinois were desperate to make things happen ended up costing them a lot more than once. They made many crucial mistakes that gave Ohio State the advantages they needed to continue pushing the game forward in their favor.
Yeah, Ohio was sometimes kind of putting the brakes on themselves, and you saw that Illinois, they're the number 8 team out of 8. So it's definitely was not a strong showing there. It's one of those games that you walk away from going, that was not a game where you go, wow, we did some great things. It's where we messed up a lot. You expected to be better than them, and of course, you did win the game. They did put up a good fight, and Illinois showed that they probably shouldn't be 8th. It's actually quite surprising. Today, they played like they were a team that was going to be top 4.
Very easily. They did predict it, but they weren't quite able to get it. But let's take a look at the standings and where all of these teams are located. Again, this is as of the schedule, in fact. Next week, we've got UC Irvine versus UCLA. This is week 7 of our best of 2s, the very last of our standard matches before we get into the playoffs. And the seeding is going to be determined by the end of this week.
It's a Southern California brawl. UCI, my alma mater. Anteaters. Zap, zap. Take me off the cast for too biased.
Yeah, we just might have to do that. Either that or we'll get you an anteater costume. We'll see how that works out. So does UCI have a mascot? The like a guy who dresses up as an anteater?
Yeah.
So we can do that.
I think he likes to be the only one that wears it. So
okay, well maybe we'll talk to him and see if he wants to cast some League of Legends. But that's going to be it for us. Again, if you want to find out more about the campus series, head on over to our website ulol.leagueoflegends.com. You can find more updated standings, look at the schedule, find VODs of our games, and even find a club near you. But again, we're done for the day. We'll be back next week with more awesome collegiate action.